High school sports teams are known for their unity. No matter what's happening on the field, they stick together. Players, coaches, students, parents. One big family. That's why Mountain West Bank is so proud to sponsor Idaho high school sports. Today, tomorrow, together.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Because you already give them something money can't buy. We'll help with everything else, no matter what life holds. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
It is a beautiful late summer afternoon in Baker, Oregon, where this afternoon 2 Idaho high school football teams will be competing on the field in a nearly cloudless and very little smogged afternoon as the Emmett Huskies get ready to host the LakeCity Timberwolves on the Baker Bulldog Field in Baker, Oregon. Good afternoon, everyone. Del Gray and Chandler Gray from Bulldog Bowl Memorial Stadium in Baker, where these two teams are each looking to pick up their second victory of the season. Each of them lost their season opener and then picked up victories last week. So somebody comes out of here on the high side of the 500 mark, and the other one will be battling to try to get back above for the rest of the season. For the Huskies, they come in at 2-1 after losing their opener to the #1 ranked 4A team in the state, the Blackfoot Broncos, 49-32 at Emmett. And then last week, Emmett went over to Fruitland and hung a donut on the Grizzlies with a 40-0 win over Fruitland in that matchup. And while they were doing that, Lake City was at home, and they were defeating Raymond of Alberta, Canada, 36-32 after having lost their season opener 21-30 to Lakeland. So that's the setup of these two teams take to the field here. A beautiful bowl-like setting here in Baker. And as we said, it's absolutely gorgeous afternoon. A little bit of breeze blowing the flag at the top of the bowl here. It's set down into the ground here, and really tight, very intimate, as sometimes the camera's going to be really, really tight on the edges here.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at probably 5 yards from the edge of the field to where the stands start on both sides of the field. So a really tight, compact stadium here. It's really cool atmosphere, and as you said, the weather, we escaped all that smog and all that smoke that's happening in the Boise Valley right now, and it's pretty clear over here in Baker.
Well, the Huskies are going to be kicking it off as Lake City has won the toss and is going to be back to receive. So stepping up to do the duties for the Huskies, Tucker Welling. And he's going to squib this one. It's going to be knocked around. It goes to the ground. And what, we're going to have a whistle, or we're going to have an infraction on the...
No, I think they just called it down because he just dove on it.
It touched it, huh? Okay.
Oh.
No, it looks like they're going to re-kick. So I'm not sure if maybe some of the officials weren't set on the far side.
Oh, the play clock had not started on the main game clock.
Okay.
So
if the clock didn't start, even though it was touched, we'll start it again. So at the 40-yard line, it'll be teeing it up. Back deep for Lake City. They'll have number 21. That is Chase Walker. And on the opposite side, it appears
Bodie
to be Beebe,
Yep.
the defensive back. They're the two men deep, but from what we saw in the first attempt, it probably is not going deep. Let's see. Maybe Welling just missed it, and he's going to try he's going to go a different route this way. Nice floater into the air, and it's going to roll, but it rolls out of bounds inside the 20-yard line, and that'll actually bring it out to the 35, where Lake City will get the first opportunity to run their offense for Coach Brian Fulp. Lake City comes into this ball game, as we said, 1-1, coming off a victory against Raymond of Alberta, Canada last week. And talking with Coach Fulp, that was a very interesting game for his team because the Canadians play no limit to the amount of motion in the backfield. They call it a running start up there. But they also play with 10. Well, they played with 11, and they played in an American field, but they were allowed to use their running start. And sometimes they'd have 5 men in motion at a time, and that took a while to adjust to. Quarterback hands it off inside, taking it outside. That is Zach Johnson. And Johnson, you're going to hear his name a lot here this afternoon. He gets a lot of attention from college recruiters. A senior at 6'3", 220 pounds. They list him as a tight end in the program. He actually has wide receiver speed and size, but he is going to be running out of the running back position most of the time this evening. Braden Ross, who is the starting running back for the Timberwolves, injured 3 plays into the very first game of the season this year, and hopefully they'll get him back later this year, but right now they're going to go with Johnson as their D-back, and a quick-fired pass from Jackson Pettit finds nobody on the far sideline. I don't think his receiver was looking for it, and it'll be a quick incompletion, and we have 3rd and 6 coming up for the Timberwolves at their own 40-yard line.
Definitely a misconnect between the quarterback and the receiver there. The receiver thought it was more of a streak. Quarterback thought it was a curl route. Not sure where the disconnect there was, but it is a new setting and it is a new place. It's possible. Just getting the chills out.
Well, your sideline is awful close. If their handoff goes inside to Johnson, and he's going to pick up a couple of yards, but no more. And the Timberwolves are going to be faced with a 4th down and about 4. They're near midfield, but you don't know. I don't know what their penchant is. Some teams, once they're over their own 40, they go for it on 4th down. Right here, it looks like they're going to do the punting.
Yeah, it looks like a punt team came out. We have number 1.
Yeah,
going
Trevor
back.
Cogley going back.
Yep.
But understand, Cogley is a wide receiver in DB as well as the punter, so that means you got an athlete back there, so he could be ready to do about anything. He is going to put his foot into this one, and he gets a sky, and it's going to bounce long and deep, and it's going to go very deep and stop at about the 2-yard line.
That's college quality of punting. That was incredible for a high school punter. Especially with a lot of teams not even having punters, just as you said.
We'll have to see if it stands up, however. We have Laundrie on the field just inside the 46-yard line, and that's normally where you have a hold. They're going to call a hold against the defense on that. I would think.
Half the distance to the goal?
Well, or would it count before it would be a 1st down if it was marched off from it must be a hold on the return.
I would
think
so.
that it was clear up at the line of scrimmage. We'll have to wait and see here.
Not sure on the call there.
Because that football is at about the 2-yard line. But if they march it off, they'll bring it back, and Lake City's offense returns to the field, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
It's going to be a 1st down, Lake City.
They'll be getting the football at about midfield. So a defensive hold was the call on the punt attempt. Don't see that too often. And we'll walk all the way up here. In fact, Emmett still getting some clarification, some of the players from the officials on that. So the defensive holding will put the football, they're still marking it off.
I think it's going to be just the 49, just inside Emmett territory.
Okay, it'll be the 10-yard mark off from the previous line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And so it will be just inside Emmett territory, but a 1st and 10 for Lake City. And they'll bring that offense back out of the field, splitting out to the left side. Got some numbers that don't match the roster we were given. We'll have to follow those up a little bit here. Quarterback Pettit, he's back to pass, looking downfield, fires a bullet to number 18, and going the distance is Justin Hill. Hill split between the defenders. He had about a 3-step drop on anybody around him, and that bullet goes for 49 yards and a touchdown, and the Wolves take the early lead in this one. I should say Timberwolves. We'll probably often call them the Wolves, but a 49-yarder from Pettit to Hill.
Everything kind of went wrong after that holding call for Emmett. They had an amazing – first of all, Lake City had a wonderful punt that they would have been happy with, ended up getting the penalty, getting the ball back, and then a bullet straight down the field for the touchdown. That's just such a turn of events.
And that's a tough pass at high school, right up through the middle that way. Point after attempt is up and on its way by number 53, Alex Green. It is good, and it is out of the park.
Yeah, that's on the street on the other side.
The pigskin has left the building. And now we're going to see they're sending somebody out to go chase the football down.
Yeah, they're sending a JV player out to go get the football.
Of course, they always switch back to every team has their own offensive football, so we'll have one here for the Huskies in a moment. But what a quick strike. Huskies did a great job on the first 3 downs to force the punt, and then to have that penalty open the door, and then a 49-yard strike to Justin Hill. And he was 2 steps between the 2 linebackers, and there was no deep D-back. The Huskies have been kind of shifting to work the perimeter. They've been had a little bit of a problem with patterns down the sidelines, and so they've been really working and getting that safety coverage out on the perimeter. And there was no safety valve, and Hill took advantage of it.
Yeah, if you're the Huskies coaches, you got to just tell your team, shake it off.
Yep.
Wipe from your mind, 0-0, start over.
Alex Green with the kickoff. Gets a high end over end. It's going to bounce. It'll be taken at about the 13-yard line. That is
Loomis.
Joel Loomis, and Loomis breaks the tackle. He's to the 40. He's to the 30. He's to the 20. He's not going to get in. He'll be stopped at about the 5 or 4 yard line. Loomis up the middle, then cut to the left, and just not quite enough steam to finish this one off.
Dale, I don't know about you, but I've got a feeling we might have a barn burner on our hands. This is just off to the races. We're not even 2 minutes into this game, and we've already had over 100 yards of offense.
They're going to mark him as having stepped out, appears at the 12-yard line, so that'll only be a 70-yard kickoff return. But quite an explosive response after that explosive score by Lake City.
Yeah, Loomis didn't worry about that at all. He just kind of went with it.
So the Huskies take over at the Lake City 12-yard line. Dakota Perry calling signals. Man in the backfield getting the handoff. That is Brennan. He'll get a yard, maybe 2. He'll fall forward to about the 8-yard line. Or is that getting back to the 12? That just got back to the line of scrimmage from the depth of the handoff. So 2nd down and 10 from about the 12-yard line. Brennan, who they use in just about every capacity, running back, slot receiver, wide out. Not able to get any action inside. Handoff goes this time to Fullerton. He breaks one tackle and then moves to the right and is swarmed under. He'll pick up a couple of yards, but it's going to be 3rd and long. And right now, the Huskies having problems trying to find any seams in that Lake City line.
Lake City is absolutely stacking the box. That was a linebacker coming off the edge, Aaron Rios, with the tackle there. They're just stacking 8 in the box. So you might need to throw it even though it's only at 11 yards to the end zone.
It does change your options when you're inside the red zone this deep. Perry with the handoff to Fullerton. He's stopped. He spins back, stays alive, but he's only going to get back to the line of scrimmage. And the Huskies, with 3 downs, have moved the ball 1 yard. And they're faced with 4th and goal at the 12-yard line.
That offensive line for the Huskies just isn't getting enough push. They're just getting overpowered right now.
And just actually looking physically, Lake City has a pretty sizable line out there.
They are bigger, it looks like. I mean, I would average 2 to 3 inches taller all the way across the board.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of statistical information on either of these teams to weigh that out to you, but Perry looks into the end zone, fires a pass for the touchdown. Nice quick slant to Stevie Howe. And the Huskies on 4th and 9 from the 12 score. Well, Chandler, you called it. You said you may have to pass because there's nothing in the box.
Sometimes it just is like that. When you're that close in the red zone, there's not a lot of options. Everything is so compact. It's really hard to get space and make holes as a lineman. So you kind of have to play with what you got on the outside, and the Huskies performing perfectly on that play.
Well, Perry reaches into the box and pulls out the Cracker Jacks with the answer for Howe. And now the extra point attempt, which could be an adventure here. That's Tucker Welling to do the kicking now for the Huskies.
Saw him warming up before the game. Had a good kick, and that one's going to be good as well.
Welling as well. They just brought him over to do this. They struggled in the first game against Blackfoot particularly, and actually in the game at Fruitland the other night. Kind of gave up on the extra point, but that was an excellent extra point. And we have played, would you believe, just over 3 minutes, and we have a 7-7 ball game between these two.
As I said, I think we might be in store for a high-scoring game here.
It'll be interesting to see. This ball game is brought to you on IdahoSports.com, a GameStream production. It's Treasure Valley Game Night, actually game afternoon here in Baker, presented by Mountain West Bank. Also brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. And also by our local broadcast sponsors this evening, Mountain West Building Supply, Gem Supply and Co-op, and Hannigan Auto Sales, all there in Emmett. Thank you for joining us here this afternoon. We're ready for our, can you believe it, actually fourth kickoff of the ball game. Only the third that, since we had 2 on the first effort. But ready to do the kicking duties again is Welling. He gets his foot into this, end over end, going to be taken at about the 25-yard line, and picking up a couple of yards and no more for the Timberwolves. Getting up off the bottom of that pile is number 8, Brody Beebe. So he's had both of the returns. And Lake City will have decent field position just outside their own 30. Their first possession started at 35. Looked like it was going to be 3 and out, and then things just changed.
Yeah, really, we haven't had a prolonged drive so far. It's just been big plays that have opened up scores. So we're going to see now if Lake City can put together a drive. They've got 4 outs and then 1 in the back, so they're very much running a spread here.
Well, the spread offense is certainly the way with 3 receivers split to the left side of the right side of the field. Pettit goes back to the right side, and the pressure was coming up the middle. Number 36 for the 38.
Brady Dillon.
Yeah, Brady Dillon putting on the pressure out of the nose guard position, and Pettit had to unleash it on the far side. It fell into neutral territory, so it'll be 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Timberwolves at their own 32.
His receiver on that far side looked like he was running a streak. So once again, another disconnect between the receiver and the quarterback, where the quarterback thought he should be somewhere he's not. Quick handoff to number 30 up on a sweep. That's
Logan Fletcher takes it out to the left side, yes, and he's going to pick up a couple of yards. Maybe give him 3 before he's brought down there by, among others, Joe Loomis.
Joe already having an active game.
Loomis with the big kickoff return that helped set up the Huskies in good field position short time ago. So 3rd down and long for Timberwolves in their own territory. Patty Kelvin signals, rolls to his right, fires it out into the flat, into the hands of Justin Hill. Hill's going to be close, but I'm not sure if he'll get the yard to gain. It'll depend on where the official is, The one on the far side of the field looked like he's made it. The one on the near side of the field where he's standing, and he was where the play was, he's going to be short. They're going to mark it at the 41-yard line. It'll be 4th down and a long one coming up for the Timberwolves.
So the age-old question, do you punt it? Do you go for it? I think this early in the game with this field position, you go ahead and go for the first down. And that seems to be what's going on with Lake City because they don't have the punt team coming out.
Well, they certainly had success last time, even though they had a great punt. They got it back because of the penalty and then able to score off of it. So let's see if it's going to be a Pettit to Hill connection again like they had early. And now they're going to get the jump and a flag, and the 5 yards will be picked up the cheap way as just a little too anxious to get across there was Brody Dillon. And he'll be whistled with the 5-yard infraction. He made contact, and we'll bring the ball all the way out to the 46-yard line where it's Brady Dillon with the contact. So another first down, big first down on 4th down. So both these teams have come up with big 4th down plays. Huskies scoring their touchdown on a 4th and 10 from the 12.
So far, the only turnover on downs was then wiped away by a hold. So haven't had any 4th downs really not being successful. A quick run off the left side tackle.
That's Johnson with the carry to the left side, or is that 30?
It's 30.
30, Logan Fletcher.
Oh, wrong team.
Logan Fletcher with the pickup. And it looked like he'd broken and now they're moving up where I said the football all of a sudden with the official was 5 yards back of where we thought that was going to be. They do space it in Emmett territory at the 48-yard line. It'll be 2nd down at about 4 for the Timberwolves. High snap, but Pettit gets control of it, rolls to the right side, being chased, fires across to the receiver coming underneath. That's Trevor Cogley, and Cogley's going to get 1st down yardage down to the 41-yard line. Nice play action, and the Husky line went with the quarterback, and Cogley was able to get into that gap between the backers and the line to pick up the yardage.
So far, both of these quarterbacks really not getting great protection by either of these lines. The defensive lines seem to be getting more of a push than the offense, and both quarterbacks are seeming to have to move quite a bit so far.
Maybe somewhat out of design with their motion offense. Pass goes outside to Johnson. Johnson's going to be stopped for a 1-yard gain as he just gets to the 40. Looked like for a moment he might have a little quick out pass from the quarterback Pettit and be able to do something with it, but the Husky linebackers came in and put a stop to that.
Yeah, Isaac Brennan on the tackle there. Great coverage, pressing up against the line.
Trips again to the right side, and this time Johnson out of the backfield is in the slot at kind of a split tight end on the right side. Let's see if they're looking for that big target. They're going over the middle to wide open and in for the touchdown, Brock Morris. The Huskies getting burned in the secondary.
In the center of the field both times, Dell.
That one goes for 39 yards from Pettit. And with 5:43 to go, and you mentioned both of them in the middle of the field. That is not an area that we had seen going against the Huskies this year. Everything had been exploited on the perimeter. And this time maybe that's over at adjustments defensively, but they've left a soft spot there, and the Timberwolves have just eaten them alive with 2 scoring plays right down the middle, and the extra point attempt by Alex Green is good, and it is 14-7 in favor of Lake City, and we still have 5 minutes and 43 seconds to go here in the first quarter of play. Mountain West Building Supply has everything you need for your next project, whether you're a professional contractor or a do-it-yourselfer, home fixer-upper. Lumber, paint, hardware, and more can be found at Mountain West, located just 2 miles west of Emmett on Highway 52. They've got old hickory sheds ready to deliver so you can put away all that stuff before the snow flies. And you know, maybe it will fly sometime yet this fall. It's starting to feel like fall may be on its way finally to the northwest. Proud supporters of everything Husky Blue, Mountain West Building Supply. Give them a call and check out whatever it is you need at 365-7580. 5:43. Seems like we have been here for a long time already, and yet we really haven't run that many plays. And yet it's a 14-7 lead. Neither defense able to get a stop as of yet.
No, and once again, it hasn't been short, slowly chipping away plays. It's just been big, explosive plays, which, from a coaching standpoint, there's really not much you can tell your guys.
If you put this in a boxing parlay, we've had very little hitting to the middle section. It's been the haymaker over the top that has delivered the points to this point. This kick is going deep, deep, deep. It'll be taken at the inside the goal line and brought out by Brennan. He's to the 15, to the 20, and we'll get all the way out to about the 24-yard line, where Isaac Brennan will set the Huskies up, and for the first time, they will start a possession in their own territory with only their second possession of the game.
I was going to say, for the first time is a little generous considering the first kickoff return was almost 100 yards.
Well, collectively, between the two returns, they have 100 yards now in return yardage in two. But the ball is going to be placed right at the nose of the 25. And Dakota Perry will have Rye Fullerton in the backfield with him. Split out to the near side for the Huskies is Ryder Scheibe along with Isaac Brennan. Handoff inside. Fullerton's going to go straight ahead. He'll get 5. It looks like it'll give him 5. The officials walking on the chalk at the 30. So a 5-yard pickup for Fullerton. That's the biggest, now the official that's not spotting it, but who put it down puts it down short of there. So we'll call it a 4-yard pickup. And a long 5 coming up for the Huskies just inside their own 30. Scheibe in the lone now on the left side with 2 receivers split to the right. Rolling out is Perry, drops it off into the hands of Daniel Walker, and Walker's got first down yardage coming out of a tight end position. Walker's going to get it out across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Huskies. And play action is working pretty well for both of these teams.
More movement in the backfield seems to be the key today. You mentioned Scheibe earlier. Scheibe, a sophomore, getting his first start for the year.
At wide receiver, he played some football last night as one of the quarterbacks in the JV game when the Emmett JV defeated Valley View's JV 21-7. Broken play. Perry's going to try to make something of it. He's going to get about 4, maybe 5 yards. He just was really quite patient in there, not trying to panic, and just picked his way, kind of skipped around, and they're going to give him 6 all the way out to the 43.5-yard line. So short 6, long 5, whatever way you want to look at it there. Fullerton in the backfield along with Perry. Gets the handoff, goes straight ahead. He's got first down yardage across midfield. He's down to the 46-yard line. Rye Fullerton finding a little running room now inside. So after the first possession where there didn't seem to be anything between the tackles, getting a little space.
Well, and a great physical run by him. After he got 6 more yards after first contact, which is really what you want to see. So good, hard, fundamental running.
It's so much easier to do if you're going straight north and south and not trying to scoot side to side. Handoff again, this time to Loomis. And Loomis will get 4 yards, diving straight ahead. So the Huskies right now showing more of a power offensive game on this possession.
Yeah, and they're really upping the tempo. That's one thing we haven't seen a lot, and we're seeing a complete no huddle right now where they're running the play in from the sidelines and then going straight into it without a huddle, which is a great contrast to Lake City taking their 10 to 30 seconds between each play.
And kind of shuttling tailbacks now as Loomis comes out and Fullerton comes back in. Let's see if they go with another running play. No, they're going to go to Perry. He options out of it and slips, falls, and going to drop a couple of yards. He'll fall down at about the 45-yard line. He was looking to find some space on that right side, and it didn't materialize. He was also keeping his eyes downfield to see if somebody broke open, but he finally ate it and lost a yard or 2. It'll be 3rd down and good 8 coming up for the Huskies.
Fantastic coverage by Alex Green, their defensive end from Lake City. Just really not giving any space on the outside and making him cut back in, which is eventually what made him slip.
Perry with the late handoff to Fullerton. He'll dive forward, will not get anywhere near the first down, but he will pick up about 4. So it'll be 4th down and about 5 to go. We'll call it 4th and 5. It's maybe a short 5, but it's still a significant difference on 4th down. But you are in Lake City territory.
I don't see Emmett punting here. I think it's a go for it. You're inside enemy territory, and it's 5 yards, but it's high school football, so 5 yards might as well be 2.
Scheide and Brennan out here. Nice fake by Dakota Perry. He's hit at the 40, and he's going to fight forward, but not enough for the first down. It looked like at first the whole play was going to be blown up. Then Perry tried to make something out of it. Looked like it might be there. Lake City covered beautifully, and then Perry spins out of it, but the secondary coverage comes up, and the Timberwolves are going to take over with, again, good field position at about the 40-yard line. Now the question is, can the Huskies find some kind of protection in the middle of that secondary?
That's the question. They've been burned twice now over the middle, and you just can't especially when you're running 2 safeties like this Emmett defense does, you really cannot get beat deep in the middle of the field like that.
Splitting out to the near side, Justin Hill. He had the 49-yard score early in the ball game. Pettit with single back behind him. Handoff goes to Logan Fletcher. He'll get a yard, maybe 2. They're going to mark it at the 42-yard line. So we'll call it a 3-yard pickup as they'd set the line of scrimmage at the 39. Second and 7 coming up for the Timberwolves in their own territory, but across their 40. Looking to try to add to a 14-7 lead here in the first quarter yet.
Minute 35 left in the first quarter.
Idaho high school football being played in Oregon. Back to pass. Pettit fires out into the flat. Gets it to Hill. Hill gets the first down yard. He fumbles the football, and I believe the Huskies have it.
Emmett has the ball.
They do.
Recovered by number 11. That's Brian Walker for you.
Walker with the takeaway after the completion that would have been a first down. Hill trying to get second effort yardage, gives it up, and the turnover gives the Huskies the ball at the Lake City 49-yard line.
That's what the Huskies needed. They really needed a stop here to get back into this ball game. They're only down 7 in the first quarter, but it's one of those things that when you let a team like Lake City get out ahead and just give them some space, they're not going to give it back. They're going to just run it all over you. So a great stop making that change here early in the game.
So a big defensive possession there for the Huskies. Now let's see if they can counter at the offensive end. They've scored on one of their 2 possessions, just their 3rd offensive possession of the game. Handoff, it goes inside, straight ahead as Walker. Quick dive, straight up the gut. Going to kind of a power running game again there for the Huskies.
Well, Walker is fired up after that fumble recovery, and when you get a player fired up like that, you just kind of line up and give him the ball over and over again, and that they're running the power I wouldn't be surprised to see it back to him, but it doesn't go back to him. It goes number 25.
Fullerton will bring it forward for full first down yardage. He's going to pick up nearly 10 as he gets inside the 40-yard line all the way down to, looks like they're going to mark it at the 37. It'll be 1st and 10 for Emmett. But again, right up the gut. So the Huskies right now simply trying to keep pounding away at that interior. But you kind of wait and say, okay, at what point do they open this up? You've got Isaac Brennan who can do a lot of things on the perimeter for you. We'll see. I formation there behind the quarterback. Perry hands off to Fullerton, who has a blocker in front of him, and Walker. He's going to get a couple of yards, but that's going to come back, or is it going to be added on to? According to the, at least according to the Emmett quarterback, Perry, he's calling that it's a face mask, and the official has indicated that it's a hold against Emmett, however. And Perry can't believe it. He thought there was a face mask when Fullerton was taken down.
It did look like his head whipped a little bit when he was taken down. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Line of scrimmage was where it was, and now it is 10 yards further back. We're almost back to where this drive started at the Lake City 47 right now. So we're looking at 1st down and 19 coming up for the Huskies. And penalties, they can always bite you at the wrong time. Just makes everything that much more difficult.
Huskies still lining up in that power I, though. I mean, this is what you call smash mouth football. We're just going to line up and we're going to run it straight at you over and over again.
Until we don't. Back to pass is Perry. Has traffic. He puts up a shot that's going to be intercepted. It was tipped, it looked like, for a moment, and it's into the air where it's taken down by Trevor Cogley, and Cogley's going to be taken down now back at the 43-yard line. Looked like Cogley might have a lot of running room, but Stevie Howe chases him down. But that ball looked like it might have been ticked because it came out of his hand and just kind of, it was, duck hunting season's not here yet, but it was.
He got hit right as he threw the ball.
And it just floated up there. So we've got a turnover each direction now after a fumble recovery, and the Huskies unable to do anything with it. Now we have an interception, and Lake City will start at their own 42-yard line, but they're going to have to wait because that was the end of the first quarter. We have completed one period of play. It is Lake City 14 and Emmett 7. We'll be back to take a look at what happens with the next 12 minutes in just a moment.
Why spend 15 minutes quoting your insurance with one company? Go to biginsurance.com and let leading insurance companies shop for your insurance. You can even chat with one of our agents standing by, only at biginsurance.com.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it, how to dream big, and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created, with everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you. So keep asking what if at nextsteps.idaho.gov.
Lake City with the football, looking downfield, going up with the pass and a completion, but I believe out of bounds on the near side. It is. The completion was made on the pattern to Trevor Cogley, but he was pressured on the sideline. Defending was Ryder Scheibe for the Huskies, and kept just enough on him that he had to step out of bounds to grab that completion. So it's incomplete pass officially. Second down and 10 coming up for the Timberwolves at their own 43-yard line. Just underway in the second quarter, a 14-7 lead for the Lake City Timberwolves. Pettit counting signals. Handoff goes inside, breaking the tackle and getting free for a little bit of running room is number 30. That is Logan Fletcher, and Fletcher's going to be deep into Emmett territory all the way down to the 37-yard line. Looked like he might be swarmed at the line of scrimmage, but he's able to make a nice pop out to the left, out of the line, and pick up good yardage on the perimeter. So big first down for Lake City. That's their biggest run yardage of the ball game. And now we're going to march it off some more. Now the official just trying to communicate with the other officials. And it is at the 37-yard line. So first and 10 for Lake City. Pettit counting signals. He's looking downfield. He's wanting to fire. He's being chased. He's going to throw this one away. Nearly. He gets it over to his intended receiver and nearly picked off by Stevie Howe. He was looking to get it to Justin Hill, and Howe had a shot at it, but it was the pressure coming from the defensive line. Hunter Enoch, among others, there for the Huskies, that kind of forced Pettit to let loose that one a little bit. Well, he didn't have his feet set quite like he wanted to.
Coming off the end was Pettit. And, he got great penetration. Both these defensive lines have been really putting the work on the offensive lines on both sides of the ball. So
now we have a second defensive holding call against the Huskies, and that'll be another first down for Lake City. I said you don't see that many defensive holding calls, and not even sure when that flag was thrown. We didn't see it in the melee of the play.
Must have been on the far side of the field.
Usually when a play breaks down like that and is delayed with that kind of traffic, if there's a hold, it's usually against the offensive side. But Huskies with their second defensive holding call of the game, and the Lake City threatening to take a 2-score lead here as they have the ball down to the Emmett 26-yard line. Pettit rolling to his right, fires to the flat. He gets it into the hands of Hill. He'll pick up a couple of yards. Be happy to go out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. Stevie Howe playing the defense on Hill. Hill, great speed. We saw that on the opening score of the game over the middle. And I keep kind of keeping an eye on the middle of that defensive backfield because that's where the Huskies have given up both of their scores. And right now it's picking on the perimeter by Pettit that's moving them down the field. Lake City handoff goes again to Fletcher. Fletcher's going to get a few yards. He'll pick up maybe 5 as he'll get inside the 20. We'll have to wait to see where the official actually places it. He'll put it at the, it looks like about 18-yard line. Shane Daniels with the defensive stop for the Huskies. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2 coming up for the Timberwolves in the red zone. Johnson sets at the tight position on the left side. Wide out is Trevor Calgley to the left. Trips, doubles on the right side. And a fake, the handoff, nice fake by the quarterback, Pettit. I was following his motion. He'd already handed it off to his running back, and Logan Fletcher gets first down yardage all the way inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
Pettit doing a great job of selling the fake. They're faking out even us up here, so doing a great job of playing the play through and following through on those fakes.
Pettit with Fletcher set up to his right, but Pettit's going to fire to the end zone. He's looking for Johnson deep into the end zone, and he's got the touchdown. Johnson, good size in the connection in the corner, and a 12-yard Pettit to Johnson score. That's the 3rd touchdown pass of the ball game for Lake City, with 10:21 to go yet here in the second quarter, and it is now 20-7 in favor of the Timberwolves, and the extra point coming up.
So far, it feels like Emmett's being beat by penalties and big plays. They're not really letting any of the small stuff go. They're not, getting beat play by play, but they're making these big mistakes, and that's what's killing them so far.
3rd and 4th downs have hurt them a couple of times, and Lake City's done a great job of taking advantage of that. Stepping up to try to kick this extra point is Alex Green. He's 2 for 2 in this one, and looking to make it a trifecta, and he does not. He shanks it to the left. It will come up short. So with 10 minutes and 21 seconds remaining here in the first half, Lake City will get ready to kick it off with a 20-7 lead. And the Huskies, I guess, with a minor victory in that regard. Gem Supply Co-op in Emmett, the helpful place for all your building and hardware needs. They offer friendly, knowledgeable personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience from local experts who know you best. Visit them at 402 North Washington Avenue in Emmett. They're open 7 days a week. Gem Supply and Building Co-op wants to wish the Emmett boys the best of luck in the game tonight. Go Huskies, and they're going to need to get some juice from their boosters at home, and a nice crowd of Emmett boosters who've made the trek over here to Baker. On the near side of the stadium, look around us. We've got a couple hundred, I would think, that have made the trip over here. The far side of the stadium, which you'd see in your camera, is the Lake City crowd, and I'd say we're probably looking at maybe 4 dozen maybe in the group on the far side. And, of course, there may be some Lake City folks sitting on this side because we're in the shade.
I wouldn't doubt it. The only entrance to this bowl is kind of on this side of the stadium, so probably not very many wanting to make the trek all the way around to the other side.
The stadium here has a roof on it here on the west side, and so it is shaded. As you can kind of see the shadows starting to creep out onto the field. Kickoff is going to be taken by Brennan. He'll get it at the 12-yard line. He's to the 15, to the 20. He's to midfield, and he starts to make a cut, and he is cut right into the kicker as he is brought down by 53, Alex Green. But a nice kick return for Isaac Brennan. Yardage for the return itself is going to be about 35 yards, and the ball will be at the 49-yard line. So the Huskies starting near midfield, And it was a kick return that got them started on the first possession all the way down to the 12. So maybe that'll give them a little juice here and see if they can try to get back even up in this one, or at least tighten it up before halftime. Pass goes outside again to Brennan. Brennan breaks the tackle. First down yardage inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line, 39. Just a quick out from quarterback Dakota Perry, and the Huskies wanting to pick up the pace here. Perry getting signals from Coach Hargett on the near side. Splitting out to the right is Stevie Howe. Younger brother Sammy with some big plays last night at that same position on the JV team. Howe has Fullerton. Perry has Fullerton in the backfield, but he's going to ignore him, and he's going to fire it out. Perry releases it out, and he's deep. He just overthrew Howe on the fly pattern. He was just sending him straight down there. And Howe had pulled a few. He had 147 yards in receiving with 5 catches against Fruitland last week. And he had a 48-yarder early in the third quarter that was a full layout. That how he caught it. I mean, if you had a camera on him, you would have seen him stretching about 5 yards across the field, absolutely vertical. But the ball nestled in his hands as he brought it down. And that set up yet one of their other scores against Fruitland. They could have used a big play like that right now. Down 13. Handoff inside to Brennan. Brennan breaks the tackle, spins back inside. He's going to get first down yardage. Brennan, a real change of pace from Fullerton. Fullerton, that battering ram, just that straightforward ahead. Brennan likes to find the seam, try to use his speed and get through. He's had 2 big carries now on this possession after the kick return, and the Huskies threatening as they move inside the Lake City 29-yard line.
Brennan with some life here from the Huskies. They haven't really had that, and all of a sudden some energy from them.
Yeah, the pounding works a certain way, but it doesn't sometimes give you that spike that you want. And Fullerton's able to use that, move forward for another 5 of his own. So second down and a long 5 coming up for the Huskies. Still lots of time to be played in this football game. I mean, 9:05 yet to go in the second quarter.
We're not even close to being done here, folks. And this game is nowhere near settled. Only down 13 points. Emmett can definitely get back in this game with a touchdown here.
Pass goes out to Brennan, gets the pick from Howe. Brennan will get forward enough for the first down, I believe.
I think they're going to mark him just short if I had to guess. Nope, they did mark first down.
The Whitecap, who didn't have any better angle than we had, says it's a first down. So it is a first down at the 19-yard line. So the Huskies, for only the second time in the ball game, now in the red zone.
Very, very critical to actually convert here. Once again, you're going to have that red zone problem where they're going to be packed, so expect a pass here. Hand off, no, keeper up the middle.
Perry keeps it, spins inside, and he's going to be down to about the 12, so about a 6-7 yard pickup. Everyone looking for the handoff, and Perry mixes it up a little bit out of that zone option read.
He put it in Fullerton's hands and then pulled it back. So a great read there by the quarterback, just seeing what's going on with the play, seeing that they're all biting on the run and keeping it for himself.
Second down at about 3.5. Perry rolls to his right, fires it out into the pass, gets it into the hands of number 14. That's Daniel Walker, and he's in for the touchdown. Walker from 12 yards out. So with 7 minutes and 46 seconds to go here in the second quarter, the Huskies have made this a one-possession game again with the score. In to do the kicking for Emmett will be, of course, 35 Tucker Welling. He hit his first one here tonight. Lake City has hit 2 of their 3 extra point opportunities.
Yeah, making this a 6-point game would be huge. Oh, it's a fumbled ball. They don't pick it up, and he gets tackled in the background after finally swooping it up. So a busted play, and this will remain a 7-point game.
20-13. The Huskies not able to get the conversion, but they're still just one possession back in this one. And the momentum and the onus in this football game will now shift back to the Husky defense and the Timberwolf offense. Hannigan Auto Sales, been locally owned and operated for nearly 100 years, and you don't stick around that long unless you treat every customer who walks onto your lot like family. Hannigan Auto Sales and Service, a full-service dealer that can take care of everything before, during, and after the sale. In-house financing, full-service auto detailing, and a repair shop run by the best vehicle experts around. You won't find a better place to buy or service your next used car, truck, or SUV than Hannigan Auto Sales and Service on Washington Avenue in Emmett. Give them a call at 365-5050. Also, one of our sponsors for the broadcast of the Huskies this season on IdahoSports.com.
Back to return is number 21, Chase Walker, and number 8, Brody Beebe.
Beebe has taken 2 of the kicks for short returns. And Welling getting ready to kick this one off. Taking his time, putting a foot into it, gets a high end over end. It'll be taken at about the 20-yard line. That is by
Beebe again.
Beebe, and Beebe is going to get about 10 yards on the return. They're going to mark him at about the 34-yard line, it appears.
Great coverage by Brian Walker, only about a 10-yard return, so great coverage on the kickoff.
Well, coverage always helps when the kicker is able to get that into the air with little end over end. That just kind of buys a little bit more time and space. And line drives are not what a lineman wants to see from his kicker, and that wasn't the case there. In fact, both these teams so far have shown actually very solid kicking games.
They have, and as to your credit, as you said, this being a little bit shorter kick allows the coverage to get there. We've seen what's happened on Emmett's side of the ball when returning. When it is a long kick, you get space, and all of a sudden you get big returns. So,
well, right now Lake City has shown that they can't be stopped offensively, and that's partly because of the accuracy of quarterback Jackson Pettit. He's firing down the right side, goes to Cogley. He's going to make the connection. He breaks the tackle and is going to be shoved out of bounds. Cogley just simply came back in. Isaac Brennan had to come over from the free safety to knock Cogley down, as Ryder Scheibe was playing a little bit soft on the inside, and he also gives up about 4 inches to Cogley. And Trevor Cogley skied up, got the first down, but we have another defensive hold against Emmett.
I've never seen so many defensive holds called
well,
in a game.
It won't officially count because they have declined it. They're going to take the gain on the play. And the flag is not – the only time you usually see a defensive hold is if they're holding that receiver that's trying to get away, and rather than a pass interference, they call it the defensive hold. All 3 of these have been away from where the ball has been thrown, so we haven't seen what exactly has been taking place. But that has been the call, and has been a factor in the game, though that was simply a Pettit to Cogley connection that the Huskies could not keep up with. Timeout being called over on the far side of the field by the Lake City Timberwolves. This ball game being brought to you in part by Mountain West Building Supply, Gem Supply Co-op, and Hannigan Auto Sales here from Emmett as part of the Treasure Valley game night, or in this case, game afternoon, presented by Mountain West Bank here on IdahoSports.com GameStreams. By the way, if you want to take this game and keep it as a long-term memento, post-ball game, usually the next day is the safest to go, you can actually get yourself a video copy of the entire broadcast, and you can purchase that and be able to have it for a download at home. The memories that last a lifetime by owning the digital game file. The game is just $9.95. You can click the button in the top right corner of your screen. You're watching this on your computer, and you can actually order that video now or at any time during the ball game, and that'll be available for download usually by noon the following day. 7:31 to go here, and Lake City back in Emmett territory looking for their 4th score of the ball game. Handoff goes inside. This time the arm fake of quarterback Pettit doesn't do anything, and the gain by Logan Fletcher is actually a loss, and we have a personal foul, I believe, possibly called after the sack, so a 1 or 2 yard loss, and we have an unsportsmanlike personal foul called against Lake City that's going to back them up another 15 yards. So instead of second down at 11, they're going to be faced with second down at about 26.
Once again, the defensive line getting through. You had almost all 4 of those black shirts in the backfield on that run play. That's just not what you want to see. You're kind of playing against yourself when you're not getting any protection for your backfield from your offensive line.
Well, they marked this back since it was a dead ball foul. They went from it looks like the point where it was plus the loss on the play. They've marched this all the way back to the midfield stripe, which that officially makes that, looking down on the field, first down at 29 for Lake City.
Goodness. Second and 29.
But 29 yards is no big deal. I mean, they've scored twice on pass plays of 39 or more. In motion for Lake City goes Brock Morris. Back to pass is Pettit. Fires over the middle, and he way overshoots his receiver. Lake City, I think, was trying to see if they could get a pass interference call against Callan Conklin, as Conklin was defending on big number 80, Zach Johnson, coming across the middle. But that ball was a good 5-6 feet over his head and was not catchable. And contact kind of was made after the ball flew over the top of their head. So, and now it's second. Well, it's third down. I thought it was second down. They must have lost the down on the personal foul.
They did.
You know, that was what the delay was. So it was second and 29. Now it's third and 29 at the 50-yard line for Lake City. Pettit back to pass. Being chased out of the pocket. He's going deep. Fires for the sideline, and he actually finds the bleachers. Now that's not as errant a pass as it may seem to folks when you hit the bleachers here, because the bleachers are nearly on the field.
Yeah, they're only 5 yards away from the edge of that field. And honestly, a great play. It's not intentional grounding. As you see, he did get it past the line of scrimmage, and he did have a receiver in the area. So a great heads-up play there by the quarterback, honestly, because he had 3 defensive linemen chasing him down.
He could have easily been a additional 15-yard loss, but it is no gain on the play, no loss on the play. And it's fourth down and 29 from midfield for Lake City. Just inside 7 minutes to go. Trevor Cogley back to do the punting. Steps into it.
Oh, it's tipped as he's kicked by number 80.
And it's going to roll dead just inside the 40-yard line. So a little bit of a tip. Official noted that Christian Sanchez got a piece of the ball. The punter went down, but he went down by contact from his own player. And whether he was pushed in, I didn't see it, but they ran into each other at that point. So there's no penalty flag on that.
Well, and there wouldn't be a penalty anyways because he got a piece of the ball. So
if you get a piece of the ball, it's almost like, okay, free time. Do what you want. 37-yard line is where the Huskies get it with 6:48 to go. They need a drive here and a score to try to even this up before the intermission. They joined us late. Lake City with an early score. The Huskies countered, and then 2 straight by Lake City gave them that margin. But Emmett scored on his last possession. Their handoff goes to Fullerton, and Fullerton will get a couple of yards. Nice line surge. Line of scrimmage was at about the 36, and pretty much the line and Fullerton all went down at about the 40.
Yeah, finally this Emmett offense getting some push and getting some space. They've been fighting all game, and it seems like the brawling style that Emmett's come out here with the running has really started to wear down this Lake City defensive line.
Fullerton in the backfield along with the quarterback Dakota Perry. 2 receivers split to the right, 1 to the top of your screen. Perry's rolling to his right, has traffic coming, fires over the middle, and it's right through the hands of Isaac Brennan. Brennan had found space in the backfield, had gotten behind Jake Whitehead and number 5, Aiden Kammersall, and right through his hands. He actually had to turn. And you almost wonder if he was trying to turn to go upfield before he had possession of that football.
Well, he had to do a complete 180 to catch that ball. It was thrown just slightly behind him, which he had nobody behind him. So, you might have wanted to lead him a little bit more than you did, but it happens.
It's third down and a long 8 for the Huskies, still in their own territory. Perry rolling out, has somebody on him, steps past the defense, fires out into the midfield, and it's going to be tipped and almost into the hands of Brennan. This time Perry's pass was short. 2 of the Timberwolves had a hand on it from Lake City. Now, interceptions are not a rarity for this team. They picked off Raymond, Alberta, Canada 6 times last week.
Wow.
They already have 1 interception to this one, so obviously they have a sense of where that football's being thrown around.
Great coverage. You had 3 defenders there. Brennan did get past, but as you saw, the ball was thrown short, so they didn't need to cover him deep.
6 minutes exactly remaining. Perry who's stepping back?
3. That would be Ryder Scheibe.
Okay, so Scheibe has stepped back into the punt position, and he's going to step into this one. Gets a nice high punt. Fair catch being called for by Johnson inside the 30. So Lake City will take it back at their own 28. So they dodged the bullet after the last series that saw them go backwards and then have the short punt. They now have the possession back, and they still have that 7-point lead with 5:53 remaining here in the first half. This is not a critical game for either of these teams from the standpoint. Lake City plays in the 5A division. They're up in North Idaho in the league with Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene and Lewiston. Emmett, on the other hand, of course, in the Southern Idaho Conference, but in the 4A division. And so they're not going to see each other down the road. There's no comparatives, but there's a lot of comparatives as to who they're playing. Lake City next week will be facing Bishop Kelly out of the SIC at home. Handoff on the far side and getting about 6-7 yards as he turns the corner and is able to turn it up is Logan Fletcher. So a lot of comparatives to be played. Another comparative for a lot of Husky fans is Lake City opened their season against 4A Lakeland at home and lost to Lakeland. Lakeland happens to have a first-year coach this year in Mike Schroeder, who was the Emmett coach in 2015 when they won the 3A state championship. So a lot of comparatives as you watch teams play each other in different combinations throughout the year. And, of course, league play starts kicking in next week. The Huskies will open their Southern Idaho Conference schedule against former 5A Skyview of Nampa, who will be coming to Emmett on Friday of next week. Now we have a timeout being called by Lake City with 5:45 remaining here in the first half. For you folks that are watching this at home and catch ideas and sites that you'd like, not only is the video broadcast available, but we have a ton of photographers who work with IdahoSports.com across the state of Idaho, and they have their portfolios posted online on the website there. You get an opportunity to look at some of the best sports photography in the state, if not in the Northwest, and maybe in the country. And give you an opportunity there to check out the action photos that are taken, not just in football, in all kinds of sports throughout the Treasure Valley and across southern Idaho particularly, right there in our action photocast. Lots of activity on our website. You can just check it out, and most of that you can actually do while you're watching the ball game here. Just be careful. Don't lose the one that brings you the image of this ball game. We have 5:45 to go.
With how explosive this game has been, you don't want to click away for too long.
Pettit fires it out into the flat again, gets it to his big man on the wing, Hill. Hill's going to pick up 6-7 yards. Let's see where they're going to mark it. All the way up to the 43-yard line. So on the second and short, they're getting another first down. It'll be 1st and 10. Lake City at the 43-yard line.
And something you mentioned earlier, though this game isn't critical for conference play for either of these teams, it is very critical when it comes to placement and positioning in the playoffs.
And that's important because the Idaho system now uses the Max Preps rankings. And that's a computer ranking, so it doesn't matter. I mean, playing a team that's from a bigger division is a positive for you, and then margin of victory. So all of those things can be a factor. But as far as qualifying to be in those playoffs, that's going to be determined by the conference play.
Right. Quick run up the middle, got stuffed real quick by number 38, Brady Dillon.
Dillon making the stop again on Logan Fletcher. Fletcher in the backfield along with the quarterback Pettit. Lake City at their own 41-yard line. Got to get beyond midfield for first down. Pettit rolling out, backpedaling. Now he's going to fire it up and just throw it to the sideline, and just about not far enough out of bounds. That one just barely landed out of bounds.
Great coverage by Emmett. There was nobody open, and he had some big defensive linemen chasing him down. So, once again, another good play by the quarterback, just throwing it out of bounds and not taking the huge loss that would have been close to 16 yards.
Pettit right now showing a very cool hand and a very strong arm. As we said, two of his scoring passes have come on strikes right down the middle of the field. And that's a tough pass for high schoolers to make, it seems like. But Pettit's got some height, too, so he stands out there and has a pretty good angle that a 5'8", 5'10" quarterback would not have. Fletcher again, split off to the right in the backfield. Two receivers top, two receivers bottom. They're going across the middle into the hands of Johnson, and Johnson will get the completion, and he'll pick up about 4 or 5 yards, but not near enough for a first down as Joe Loomis is there to make the stop on Johnson. And it'll be 4th down and a good 7 yards to go for Lake City. The ball just across their own 45-yard line, and still 4 minutes and 52 seconds remaining here in the first half.
Once again, Cogley back to punt.
Loomis and Brennan back deep to receive the punt. I think it's the first time we've seen two back on a punt.
They've actually been doing that on every punt,
okay,
surprisingly. I don't know what the purpose of that is, if it's just wanting to have the options, but Loomis is going to receive the punt at about the 20 and get wrapped up pretty quickly after about only a 5-yard return.
He just, the ball players, the defenders were there as he caught the ball, and he just grabbed it, made sure he had it secured, and then put his head down and moved forward for about 6. It'll be at the 27-yard line where the Huskies will have 4 minutes and 37 seconds to try to even up this football game before the intermission. 2013, Lake City with the advantage over Emmett. If you joined us late, Lake City scored on its opening possession with a 49-yard touchdown strike. Emmett countered with a 70-yard kickoff return that set them up for a short 12-yard touchdown pass to tie it up. Then Lake City scored 2 more passing touchdowns before the Huskies responded, and now they're trying to even it up on this 5th possession. Pass goes out to Brennan. He's in space. He breaks the 40, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Isaac Brennan has some speed. When he can hold that ball, he can make things happen. He jitterbugs a little bit moving around and is able to get it up for about a 20-yard pickup on the pass connection from Perry.
Stevie Howe throwing a great screen block there for him. Definitely what you want to see from your receivers blocking out in the flats.
Huskies with 2 receivers at the top of the screen, empty to the back because they're going inside to Fullerton, and he'll get a couple of yards. Looked like he might have more, but a good defensive surge from the linebackers for Lake City in there along with others. Number 69, Braden Kirakov. And the ball will only make it to the 45.5, so we'll call it we're going to be generous calling it a 3-yard pickup.
2nd and 7-ish.
Yeah. That's a ish that always gets you. Stacked backfield. Fullerton takes the handoff straight ahead. He's got near first down. He's going to get first down yardage. Well, we'll have to see where the officials mark it. It just kept surging forward and forward. The official on the near side looked like he was set to set it a little bit further up, and I think it's going to be 3rd down and a short yard. Very short yard. It's really at about the 40 at the Lake City 47.5. We got to pick up less than a yard. Fullerton will get that yard and then some. He's in the secondary, inside the 40, down to the 35. And Fullerton will be dropped by Rios inside the 35-yard line. So a big run for Rye Fullerton out of that fullback position, and the clock moving inside 3 minutes.
Needed a little, got a lot. Great run by Fullerton.
How often that is the case. If you need an inch or two, you either don't get it or you get quite a bit more. Handoff goes to Walker. Brian Walker looked like he was stopped at about the 35, and he's going to fall forward for a couple of yards, down to about the 32-yard line.
Alec Olson was the first initial hit that almost wrapped him up, and then he tripped forward for a couple more.
Huskies, again, going back to more of a power formation in their lineup. Their wide receiver, Stevie Howe, is actually tucked in almost at a tight end position, but standing behind that line of scrimmage. Joe Loomis is the lone back. He gets the handoff, and a great penetration by number 80 Johnson and number 56 Alec Olson. The pair come up from their defensive linebacker positions and bust through that line, and it's no gain on the handoff to Loomis. The third down and a long 7 coming up for the Huskies in Lake City territory. Less than 2 minutes to go. Pitch goes back to Loomis. He's going to dive over the top of one defender. Will get maybe a yard or two, and Emmett's going to be facing 4th down and long, 4th and a solid 6 with 1:33 to go. Aaron Rios with the stop for the Timberwolves, and Lake City's calling timeout.
I think that's their last timeout of the half, so they're all out now, no stopping the clock with 1:33 left in the half. Emmett looking just to get on the board and possibly tie this game up before halftime.
But this play is all of it here for the Huskies because it's 4th down and a long 6. And obviously, if they don't at least convert it, it's going back to Lake City, and their chances of trying to even up before the intermission are pretty much gone. Lake City got the opening possession of the football game, so the Huskies would be receiving the kickoff to start the second half. And this is that old game that you play in basketball or whatever, that the last 4 minutes of the first half or the first 4 minutes of the second half. If you can manipulate that, score late, you can turn the tide very quickly because you can have 2 consecutive possessions. And so that's how important this down is for both of these teams. For the offense of the Huskies, critical if they want to try to get this evened up before halftime. And for Lake City, it's critical to make sure they still have that 7-point lead at least going into the intermission, which is just 1:33 away. Perry calling signals, delaying the call. Now he calls timeout. I think he was trying to draw them off sides with the idea that it wouldn't give them a first down, but it would make it a very short 4th down, and some options might be coming their direction.
Yeah, right now you definitely have the mental game going on between these two coaches. And just as you said, Emmett wants to score before half so they can get the ball back and hopefully get that lead starting the second half, whereas Lake City wants to stop and possibly score again before the half so that they don't have to worry about them tying it back up after the half.
That's a very interesting point because with 1:33 to go and their quick strike offense, do you set on a 7-point lead knowing that you're going to have to be defending it, or do you take some risk in that last minute and a half, knowing that if you turn it over, you may give them that second chance, but if you don't and you're able to hit pay dirt, you've got a 2-score lead. So yeah, it's with
how feast and famine this game is, you kind of have to take the risk and try to score again.
Yeah.
And I think Emmett's going to do the same thing here. I don't know if they necessarily go for the first down or rather the end zone here.
I think they'll be going for first down, but certainly be looking deep if they have to. Perry's going to fire it over the middle. He's got Howe out there for the touchdown. Well, Chandler, you called it. Go deep or go home. And they went deep. 32 yards. Stevie Howe on the strike from Dakota Perry. And the Huskies are a kick away from tying this one up with 1:26 to go.
Sometimes when you're looking at the play, it just makes sense to spread yourself out and not limit yourself to only a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, sometimes when you're thinking small, you play small. They didn't. They're going for 2. It's out there for the 2-point conversion to Brennan, and the Huskies take the lead. Perry to Brennan for 2, and it is 21-20. Emmett with 1:26 to go. You talked about rolling the dice. Didn't see that one coming.
No, that was a shock for anybody. when you score that late in the half, you assume, especially in the first half, you go for the tie. But with how unpredictable kicking can be in high school, sometimes it makes more sense. And Coach absolutely just getting the fans fired up here in Baker.
Yeah, you can hear we're on the side where most of the Emmett fans are, and you can understand the excitement they have right now, because about 4 or 5 minutes ago, they were looking from the bottom end of the barrel, down 20-7, and now they have a 21-20 lead, and they'll be kicking it off. Welling to do the kicking for the Huskies. Tucker Welling.
They needed a ball to kick off. They got it out
there. He kept saying, I've got a tee, but I don't have anything to put on it yet. Now they've got the football. And now the Huskies defense have got to come up with big plays that they do not allow Lake City to take that momentum back in the last 86 seconds of this half.
It's extremely important for Emmett to get a defensive stop here and not give up that lead that you just got back. They get the ball back after half, just as you said, and they really need to hold on to it.
Welling gets his foot into this one. It'll be taken to the near side, up to the 30-yard line, breaking a tackle across the 40. And, boy, there is so little sideline here. Once you leave the field of play, you're running into players like crazy.
Not only players, but he almost ran into the stands here. That's dangerous. Kind of get an arena football feel here in this stadium.
Well, Brody Beebe with a nice return. So Lake City's going to have that football right at the 40-yard line. They still have 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining here in the first half. Lots of time to be played. The question is, do they go deep? Did they try to just move the ball? I mean, we were talking about riverboat gamblers a couple minutes ago, and you're going, the dice are still on the table.
I don't know. I think maybe with the minute 20, I think you might take the risk. They're set out in a spread offense. I would not be surprised if you see them take a shot down the field here.
Trips to the right side for the quarterback, and fading back to pass is Pettit. Facing some traffic. He's being chased. He's going to fire it to the far sideline, and it'll be incomplete. He gets Johnson coming back to the ball, but check that. It was not Johnson. It was Hill, I think, that actually came back to the ball, but could not come up with it. So an incomplete pass. And the one thing you have to be careful with here is, 3 quick pass plays. If they come up empty, you're still giving Emmett another minute on the clock.
Well, and that's the gamble you're taking here. I mean, do you try to get that lead back and go deep, or do you play it safe and not potentially get farther behind? If I'm Emmett here, if I get the ball back here, I'm probably just running out the clock, but it's one of those risks that you don't really want to take if you're Lake City.
Well, Pettit rolling to the right side, and he's being chased into the backfield, and putting on the pressure was, again, 38. I'll tell you, Brady Dillon has been in that backfield out of that nose guard position time after time. And Pettit, not having an opportunity to really find a receiver, throws it away. 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 at the 40, their own 40 for Lake City. And still 1 minute and 8. We've only run 12 seconds off here on this possession.
Yeah, now I'm starting to worry. Lake City might not, if you can't convert a first down here, you might be in trouble.
Snap goes inside. They're going to go with a handoff, and picking up yardage enough for the first down yardage. Falling forward is and we have a flag? No. What are they going to? Oh, they're marking him short. Okay, I thought he fell forward all the way to the 49. He stepped out at the 49 of Lake City. It'll be 4th down and 1. The clock is running inside 49 seconds.
They have no timeouts.
They have them all. They have no timeouts to work with. So right now it's a matter, does Lake... here's a tough one. Do you go for it and you don't make it? You give the ball back at midfield, but if you make it, then it's academic, and you probably just run out the clock for the half.
I think you take a shot downfield. It's 4th down. You don't have a lot of space. Either you turn it over here, or you do an incompletion and turn it over here.
Well, right now, quarterback Pettis is watching his coach, and they're running that clock as far as they possibly can, and they're going to call the timeout. So they're going to get it down to 16 seconds. So that gives them the opportunity now on 4th down that they're going to be able to maybe take a shot downfield for the big play. But if you do, you may leave a couple of seconds, but it's at midfield for the Huskies.
You have to take a shot downfield at this point. There's not enough time on the clock to really be that concerned, especially if you're taking a shot at the end zone. That's going to run out the clock. So if you're Lake City, right now you're looking at a deep ball. And if you're Emmett, you need to sit back in that prevent. Because the last thing you want to do is give up a point right here at the end of the half.
Or you sell out and you send the whole center of the line after that quarterback and try to get a quick sack.
Oh, definitely. You're
pressure up the middle, but you got to cover deep.
Yeah. If you're the defensive coach, you're telling your linemen, pin your ears back and go, boys. See what you can do.
Yeah, but those defensive backs, it's like whatever you do, don't let anyone get behind you.
Don't let them get behind you. Doesn't matter if they catch it in front of you. Just don't let them behind you.
16 seconds to play. 4th down and 1 for Lake City. They're firing deep, looking down to Johnson. It's going to be knocked away. It's incomplete. Stevie Howe played the defense on Hill, swipes it away, and the ball will go back to the Huskies with 10.7 seconds to go, and they'll get the possession at the Lake City 49-yard line.
And now if you're Emmett.
Well, you
may have to.
Well, quite frankly, watching the way Coach Hargett has coached the last couple of seasons, I think they may just take the knee and run out the clock here. They get the ball to start the second half.
I don't think so.
But with 10.7 and the way they acted on the last possession, we may take one more shot downfield.
I think it's
or
going
a couple
downhill.
of them. They are. Perry's back to pass. He's firing it out. He's going deep. He's down there, and it's incomplete. Thought for a minute there that Brennan was going to pull it in. He had 2 taller defenders on him, but 4.3 seconds to go. Now I think you go ahead and take one more deep shot.
Why not?
Yeah, if you were deeper in your own territory and that chance that ball would be run back is a different story. And timeout being taken by Emmett. They're going to talk about it. Huskies lead this one 21-20 at the intermission. They trailed early in the second quarter 20-7. But have rallied back and have come up with some big defensive plays here in the last 4 or 5 minutes to give them this opportunity for a second shot down the field from midfield. That was a pretty good throw by Perry because Brennan was at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it was a great play. A good arm shown by Perry, yeah. As you said, I think you have a wide spread out and you just throw it downfield and see who gets it. Now, once again, you mentioned – though Emmett seems to be the shorter team, they seem to be the more physical team. They're getting the push on the defensive line. They're getting the push on the offensive line now. And I don't think these backs know the difference between it when it comes to height. They almost look like a little dog that has big dog syndrome. They just fight and fight and fight.
So the Huskies with big dog syndrome. Okay, we'll take that. 4.3 seconds to go before halftime. Emmett with 2nd down and 10 at the Lake City 49. Leading by 1. Fullerton there to block for Perry. Perry's going to step up. Now he's going to fire it downfield. He's going downfield. Deep. It's going to be tipped in. It's caught by Fullerton. Caught by Brennan. Howe caught the ball, but it popped out of his hands. And Brennan, I think, will be credited with the reception. Because Howe had it, but it popped up out of in the end zone for I believe it's the end zone.
Yeah, no, it is a touchdown.
It is in the end zone, a touchdown. What dramatics. The ricochet, Howe to Brennan, 49 yards off the pass from Perry.
With 4 defensive players there, and somehow it bobbles around just between Emmett players. What a pass, too.
That's the stereotypical Hail Mary, and the kick is up and good by Welling. And the Huskies have taken a 28-20 lead over Lake City as the first half comes to an end with an absolutely unbelievable final 5 minutes. Unbelievably good for the Husky fans. Unbelievably just hard to digest, I would think, for Lake City right now. And the Huskies will get the possession to start the second half. But we've had a wild first 24 minutes here in Baker, Oregon, as these 2 Idaho teams, one from southwest Idaho and one from northern Idaho, meet on this neutral site. And it has been a wild one. You said in the first 2 possessions when each team scored quickly that this was going to be a real shootout. Then it looked like it was going to be going the other way. Well, we've got the shootout, folks, and it it fits here in old Baker City where the Oregon Trail and the gunslingers used to hang out, and that's exactly what's happening here in Baker this afternoon. We'll be back to recap the first half of this wild football game when we return in a few minutes.
High school sports teams are known for their unity. No matter what's happening on the field, they stick together. Players, coaches, students, parents. One big family. That's why Mountain West Bank is so proud to sponsor Idaho high school sports. Today, tomorrow, together.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your number one choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Because you already give them something money can't buy. We'll help with everything else, no matter what life holds. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
Why spend 15 minutes quoting your insurance with one company? Go to biginsurance.com and let leading insurance companies shop for your insurance. You can even chat with one of our agents standing by, only at biginsurance.com.
We are back in Baker City, Oregon, where the Emmett Huskies, the home team on the scoreboard and on this foreign field, have a 28-20 lead over the visitors from Lake City out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So 2 Idaho high schools, 5A Lake City, 4A Emmett, meeting here in Baker. Not exactly halfway, a lot closer to Emmett than it is to Lake City, but they didn't have to come down 95. The Timberwolves came down the freeway through Spokane and this direction and then on down. And they got here a little before we did this afternoon. Emmett arrived a short time thereafter. This is the first of a doubleheader to be played here at Baker Bulldog Memorial Stadium. Following this game, Homedale Trojans, the number 1 ranked 3A team in the state of Idaho, will be over here to take on the homestanding Bulldogs of Baker in a game that kicks off about 7 o'clock. For those of you listening here on IdahoSports.com, we're going to stick right here in Baker and maybe even have to go get a jacket for the second ball game here tonight. It's absolutely gorgeous in Baker. A little bit of smoky haze on the foothills around us, but not here at the field. A nice breeze blowing straight down the field as the flag whips across the way on the bowl setting. This football field is sunken, probably about 20 feet from surface, and so it really has that old-time feel with the greenery at the end of the end zone, and
very much a Michigan State kind of feel, where it's got the shrubbery on the end, where when every time you kick the ball, it goes into a bush and you have to go hunt for it.
At the end, we're not Athens, Georgia, with the hedges that we're playing with on the interior, but it's nearly that because this field is very narrow. The stadium is built, and there's no track around it like so many high school fields have nowadays, and there's actually a slope within about less than 5 yards on the far side side of the field that starts up. On the near side, there's a very narrow margin for players to be actually standing with the stands, and the fans are standing right here. And it's a great setting, and what a beautiful day. And we're bragging about that, knowing that we're very, very fortunate, because we have the understanding that there's been a number of football games in the Treasure Valley this evening that have already been postponed or canceled. I don't know how many may have been rescheduled for tomorrow morning where they might have better air quality, or if they've just been put off and will have to be rescheduled later. Those kind of things certainly can change the pattern of the entire season, but for the Huskies right now, they changed the pattern of this entire football game in the last 5 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, really just completely breaking the mold. Going into the last 5 minutes, Huskies were actually down by 6. You had a 20-14 score with Lake City leading, and then all of a sudden, 2 big plays from Emmett, and they're back in the game. And it was something we were talking about. Their first strike, 4th and 4 left on the down, rather than going for the first down, they just fire for the end zone and come up with the goods. And then just here at the end, with only 7 seconds left on the clock, say, what the heck, we got the ball back at the 49 in Lake City territory, might as well take the strike down the field and see what you can get. And it came up great. You had a great deflection, we'll call it, from Stevie Howe, who was laying on the goal line, bounced off of him, and Rye Fullerton comes up with him.
Yeah, and Isaac Brennan with the touchdown, with the grab. And with 10:24 to go in the half, it was a 20-7 lead for the Timberwolves. And the Huskies scored 3 touchdowns in the final 7:46. First, a pass play to Daniel Walker from 12 yards out, and to Perry. And then a short time later, we have a Stevie Howe 32-yard pass from Perry, and then Perry with the 49-yard hookup. And I've got to give Howe an assist here. It's a hockey assist, if you want to call it that, or it'd be basketball as well. He did the dish to Brennan to get the score, and it is 28-21. 3 touchdown passes by the quarterback for Lake City. That is number 12, Jackson Pruitt, and he has been deadly. He's had an arm, but somewhere early in that second quarter, all of a sudden, the Emmett line started getting some pressure on Pettit, and he was getting chased out of the pocket and not being able to sit back there and fire to his tall receivers.
Yeah, this Emmett team, just across the board, the line is smaller, but they have just really hunkered down and played punch mouth football and have just really gotten the better of the Lake City offense and defensive line. At the beginning of the game, there was very much defensive forward line winning on both sides of the ball between Lake City and Emmett, and then all of a sudden you just see the Lake City offensive line just started to lose steam. They just started to not be able to keep up, and it could be partially because of the Emmett no-huddle offense that they're running, just not giving them that time to recuperate.
Some of the pace that's there. And you mentioned one thing about tiring, and it's a factor for both of these teams. Most 5A teams in the state of Idaho, you don't have many kids playing both sides of the ball. That's not the case for Lake City. I think they have 4 ball players who play one side or the other. The other 7 are playing both ways. The Huskies are in that same boat. Their skill players at the offensive side are also their skill players in the defensive backfield. And particularly with some changes that they made after the early success for Lake City, they started going back to that, didn't play as deep, and that's maybe been part of it. It's been a great start to 28-20 here at the intermission, and the Huskies will be getting the kickoff from Lake City. Lake City is back on the field after having their conversation at the far end of the bowl, and the Huskies are still huddled around Coach Hargett down at the right end of the bowl.
And something to mention, both of these teams are second half teams. So if we're 28-20 in the first half, we might be in for something here.
Well, but every time you think you've got the pattern, all of a sudden then a defense shows up and we just have a grind out second half. I think a lot of that could be dictated by that opening possession of this second half. If the Huskies are able to take that ball and, say, for example, move up by 2 scores, all of a sudden Lake City's not going to be playing the ground out game. Well, they're not going to play the ground out game anyway, because that's not their style. Their success tonight and most of this season has been with the passing game, and you can see why. They've got very skilled players, and that's what they're going to do. But the key will be whether they can stop Emmett and Emmett has had some success, and it's almost like the old boxing ad we used earlier. They did enough punching in the belly early, up the middle, getting enough space, particularly after the first couple of possessions, that it kind of softened things up. And Perry's done a pretty good job throwing that football. Two quarterbacks out here, pretty impressive tonight.
I was going to say, Perry has got it's kind of this weird conflict between Young, the previous quarterback for the Huskies, but Perry's got himself an arm, and I'd almost argue maybe more of an arm than Young did. Young, very much more of the mobile quarterback wanting to run the ball, but Perry is very much sitting back in the pocket and shown that he has got the cool hand Luke of his around him, where he can just sit in that pocket and throw the ball, and he's ergo, minus the first quarter where he didn't seem to have a ton of protection, the offensive line has kind of woken up and has been giving him that protection he's needed.
And he's getting nice protection from his running back in the backfield. Either Loomis or Fullerton have done a good job when it has been a pass play, when they haven't been able to take it. So it's been a great start here, and we're looking forward to a great second half. IdahoSports.com GameStream production is brought to you on Treasure Valley Game Night. It's presented by Mountain West Bank. Brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valleywide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. And also by our local sponsors in the Emmett area who have stepped up to help bring you these broadcasts throughout this season. We're going to be on the air with every broadcast from now until the possibly the very last game against Ridgeview we may not be doing, but we will be here with the video, and of course with IdahoSports.com. Your video comes into you free, and you get the option because we got great sponsors who help make it possible. And among those sponsors, Mountain West Building Supply, Gem Supply Co-op, and Hannigan Auto Sales, all there in Emmett, that make this broadcast possible. So we thank them, and we thank you for joining us tonight. If you've got friends anywhere, that's the cool part about the internet and the World Wide Web, or whatever all these terms we used to use. I'm not even sure what it's called anymore. But doesn't matter where they're living or where they're at. Anywhere in the world, they can pick up this broadcast free and direct by just going to IdahoSports.com and clicking on and choosing this football game. And we'll be back next week, of course. The Huskies will be at home next week, and when they open up Southern Idaho Conference play against Skyview on Friday night. And for Lake City, they will be returning back and playing in North Idaho next week, but they will be playing another Southern Idaho Conference opponent, Bishop Kelly, who currently is ranked number 2 in the state of Idaho in the 4A ranks. I think they're like 80-6 is their combined score in 2 games so far, both against 5A schools out of Boise. Bishop Kelly, their game tonight that was supposed to open their league season has been canceled because of the smoke conditions in the valley. I see a number of their coaches over here in Baker scouting. Of course, they're here to scout the Lake City Timberwolves, not the Emmett Huskies, who I'm sure they've forgotten have beaten them the last 2 years in a row.
I don't think they've forgotten, Del. I think they've got that pretty badly imprinted on their brains.
That first Friday in October could be some huge football games in the Treasure Valley. Emmett will be traveling over to Bishop Kelly. I believe that is the week that Rocky Mountain will play Meridian High School, the 1 and 2 ranked teams out of that not only West Ada, but in the state of Idaho right now. That first weekend in October could be quite a weekend of high school football. But they've got to take care of business first. And for Lake City, of course, the real action gets underway after they finish their non-conference season, and they step into play with Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls and Lewiston, fighting for those berths in the 5A playoffs, while the Huskies will be fighting to see if they can make their 3rd straight appearance in the 4A playoffs.
As you may be hearing, even though this is a quote-unquote road game for the Emmett Huskies, though they are the home team today, they traveled real well, and this is a very nice Emmett side of the field, and they are getting fired up. Hargett, toward the end of the first half, you just see him screaming and yelling at the crowd as they're getting fired up. So the energy here is wonderful.
Well, and the proximity of the players to the field. I'm talking, where we're standing, we're about 5 rows up in the stands, but that means we're about 6 rows away from the players ourselves. I don't know if you could even bring that into focus with the camera on how close we are in that regard.
The team is right there.
That is where the team is, and we're just a couple of feet behind that, and it is that intimate Obviously, now there can be positives and negatives there. Sometimes you get too much communication from the crowd to the players, but at this case, it certainly has showed some of the momentum. And we're ready to start the second half, it looks like, as the Huskies will be receiving the kickoff. Lake City getting ready to kick it away. Back deep for Emmett will be Loomis.
A fantastic kick.
It kind of drops dead at the 12. Loomis picks it up there. He's up to the 20, the 30, the 35, the 40. He'll be brought down by the kicker as he crosses the 45. Alex Green, who kicked that, is the final stopper. So Loomis with a second great kickoff return here. He had a 70-yarder in the first half that set up the opening score for Emmett. And he gives the Huskies good field position to start this second half and see if they can really put a stranglehold on the momentum in this football game.
That might be the biggest kicker I think I've seen in 4A or 5A football.
But he's an
a
athlete,
big boy.
too, and he gets out there. And Alex Green is a force on the football field. Handoff inside to Fullerton, breaks the tackle. He's across the 50. He's across the 45, down to the 40-yard line. 11-yard hit right up the middle for Rye Fullerton. And the Huskies coming out with the kind of energy that we saw in the final 3 possessions of the first half. And now the officials stopping play because the Sticks gang is a little slow on the far side.
Having trouble keeping up with this quick, no-huddle Husky offense. And not only is the defense getting tired, but so are the chain gang, apparently.
Handoff to Fullerton, straight ahead, another 5, 6. He spins, is thrown forward for another 10-yard gain. So all of a sudden, the Huskies, it must have been talking about let's exploit the interior and let's pound this one home after going airmail on the final 2 possessions of the first half.
Well, and that's what we call smash mouth football. We're just going to run it straight up the gut, and you can try to stop us. But this offensive line's getting so much penetration and getting so much push.
Huskies at the 49. Now Perry's going to fire to the near side. Stevie Howe steps inside the defender, steps away, and will give another 10 yards on, I believe he's inside the 10.
He is. They're going to mark the ball at about the 7-yard line.
Howe caught that at about the 15 with the defender right in front of him, and he took a little sidestep inside, kind of like the old Texas sidestep. And he moves in and dives forward, and it's 1st and goal for the Huskies at the Lake City 9. Handoff. Fullerton straight ahead, breaks a tackle, and he's in for the touchdown.
And we are a minute and a half into this second half, and Emmett doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. They are just going to keep pounding the ball forward. Hargett got his team fired up in that halftime speech. I don't know what he said to the team, but apparently it worked because Huskies are firing on all cylinders here.
Well, I think he discovered some of his momentum with his pace at the end of that first half with the hurry-up offense. And even though they haven't been throwing except for the one play on that drive, they've been using that hurry-up, and they've been moving fast, and they move down the field quickly for over 50 yards and a score. And the extra point is on its way by Welling. It is good. And the Huskies have taken a 35-20 lead, and we are just 90 seconds into the second half as the Huskies have scored on 4 consecutive possessions in just over 8.5 minutes on the game clock. 35-20. Have to kind of stop and catch your breath just because the momentum in this changed so fast. Now, if you're Lake City, don't give up whatsoever, because let me say you, we saw the momentum from your team and in your drives down the field and that passing game. If you can come right back and counter quickly here. And this is the point, you have to be a little bit cautious. You want to be aggressive and attacking, but the last thing you want to do is a turnover and make that momentum absolutely blow up on you. Emmett was down 2 scores in the first half and came back. It's only a 2-score spread here. Lake City can certainly come back in this one.
Yeah, this game is not over by any means of the word. And we've seen how feast or famine this Lake City team can be. They can pop out a big play. So do not get too comfortable over your Emmett. Do not let off the gas. And Lake City, don't give up. It's not over yet.
Welling with a deep, deep kick. It's off the hands of the receiver back at the 7-yard line, and he's going to be stopped back there. Wrapping up Brody Beebe for the Huskies is number 42. Wouldn't you know, we don't have a 42 for Emmett.
Must be someone.
Oh, okay, that's 40. That's coming. That's Lucas Briscoe that made the stop. He's 0 on the program, but he's 42 on the field, and he has the big stop. So Lake City will start their first possession, their worst field position of the entire football game, at their own 15-yard line. 10:25 to go. Emmett 35, Lake City 20. Handoff goes inside, then popping it outside. That's Johnson trying to get some room. The big athlete will fight his way for space. He's going to pick up 5, 6, maybe 7 yards. Let's see. Are they going to put him maybe enough for a first down? Nope, just shy. They're going to say 2nd down and 1. Johnson carried the ball early in the game, and then they moved him out to the tight end position again. Now they have him back in the backfield, and he is a horse to bring down. It's 6'3", about 220. But they've got him split out again now. No, he's in the backfield along with the quarterback. Now we got to wait. And now the official's saying it's a first down.
Getting some interesting calls today.
Well, if they place it on the chalk, it has to be a first down because it was on the chalk at the 15. It's now on the chalk at the 25. So a first down carry by Johnson. Back to pass. Pettit looking downfield. Fires it over. Gets it across. Nice cut screen to the inside. On the dive for the first down is Brock Morris. And actually, I think he's going to be a little bit short. He's going to step out of bounds at about the 34. So it'll be 2nd down and 1 coming up for Lake City. And right now, they're trying to just kind of use the perimeter, whether it's with the run game or the swing pass. And I think they're trying to pull the Husky defenders out a little bit, then maybe try to counter inside with Johnson. Pettit with Johnson beside him, hands it to Johnson. Johnson, he breaks the tackle, gets inside the 40, out across the 45, and he's going to get into Emmett territory at about the 49-yard line. Zach Johnson, number 80, a running back.
Kalen Conklin running off the sideline has to get caught by head coach Harkin before he runs into the stands because he's coming off so fast.
It is, like I said, it is very narrow on the side, and Lake City right now, they're not showing any signs of giving up, that's for sure. They're coming out, and they're playing some power football right now with the wide runs and the flare-out passes. Pettit again, Johnson in the backfield with him. Gets the snap, it's high, gives it to Johnson right up the middle, and he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage. He will still fall forward for a couple of yards, but defensively for the Huskies, among those making stops, Brian Walker, number 11. Also number 38 in there, that nose tackle. We've called his name a lot tonight, Brady Dillon. And I'm having a hard time watching where the football appears to be marked on the field and where the marker is across the field. The 2nd down marker is a full yard behind where the football is on the field. So it's actually 2nd down and about 7, not 2nd down and 8. Rolling out is Pettit, fires it out into the flat right off the fingertips. He got it out there quickly, and it deflected away from Brock Morris, so incomplete. Whatever Lake City was able to do early in this game, going down the middle, they're apparently not seeing it or not going back to the well, because the Huskies must have changed some defensive setups with their safeties, because after getting burned for 2 long touchdown passes right up the middle in the first quarter, everything in the passing game has gone back to the perimeter for Lake City. Pettit rolls out. He's got Johnson downfield now. Pettit looking, now going to fire it and throw it away. No, it's tipped away by Brian Walker. He had Johnson for just a moment, but Walker was shadowing inside, and he tips it away, incomplete. 4th down and 8 coming up for Lake City at the Emmett 48-yard line.
Punt team comes in for Lake City. You've got number 1, Trevor Cogley, back to kick. And that was a fantastic defensive play or drive for the Emmett Huskies. The defensive line getting great penetration, forcing him out of the pocket, and there was just nobody downfield.
Well, and Pettit did a great job of finding Johnson coming back, but he had 2 men on him and got deflected away. Cogley going to step over, fires it, and he's going to draw the foul. The kick is taken at the 10 and brought up to the 20, but we're going to have a running into the punter foul against the Huskies. And Cogley helps bring that by doing the sidestep move forward. It's almost the Australian kind of kick. And as he steps over, that changes the whole flow of the defense coming in, and he's able to draw the contact and draw the penalty and get the first down. We'll have to see how huge that play becomes. Instead of the Huskies having the possession back with a 2-possession lead, and we should say a 15-point 2-possession lead, they're still on defense. At Lake City is at the Husky 40-yard line. That's the second big penalty in this ball game that changed things. There was a penalty on a 4th down play on the first punt of the ball game that gave back to Lake City, and they scored a 49-yard pass play directly thereafter and used that to build their early lead.
I smell deja vu. I don't know what it is, but I smell deja vu. We'll look for this pass to go deep.
Alex Green on the tight end side to the near side. He's the kicker, the punter, the little bit of everything linebacker. Pettit goes to Green. Oh, no, he goes to Hill right over the middle, and Hill's going to get first down yardage inside the 25. Hill's the one that caught that very pass for the touchdown to start the ball game. He had caught one later that he fumbled that helped start turning the tide. But Hill has the Timberwolves on the move inside the Emmett 25.
This is exactly what you wanted to see from Lake City. After going down 15 points, you really wanted to put together a nice, clean drive.
And I think you really hit on it there, drive. It wasn't just a matter of trying to get a quick strike back for the scoreboard. During this process, you're wearing on that defensive line. You're wearing on their confidence. You're taking time, and the more time you take, the more of the momentum you're able to sap away that Emmett was able to build with, essentially 4 straight scores. So Lake City, as we said, it wasn't over with when Emmett scored early in the half. In fact, we've only gone a minute and a half with this possession.
It's been pretty quick. They've had a lot of catches and receptions, but a lot of first downs, and every time you get a first down, it stops the clock. So
handoff goes inside. Nice handoff. Nice run on the way by number 30. That is Logan Fletcher. And a little delay handoff from the quarterback Pettit. And Fletcher, I believe, is he going to get there? Not quite.
They're going to mark him about 2 yards short.
So second down and short at about the 16-yard line. 16 and a half, somewhere in there. They'll have to get it inside the 15. Pettit with Fletcher in the backfield. Now Pettit with the fire to the corner to Johnson, and he's got the touchdown. Johnson.
No, they're going to say he's out of bounds, actually. They're going to mark him out.
Is the official on the far side?
On the far side of the field is saying he was out of bounds.
Okay, and that's what I say. The official at the goal line shows him in, but the official that was running down the right sideline says he was out. Now the discussion, and it appears that Lake City has won the debate, and they're giving him the touchdown. So Johnson with his second corner end zone catch. That's the 4th scoring touchdown by Pettit tonight. That went for a score of 16 yards. And we have 8:04 to go. So only 90 seconds after the Huskies had taken a 15-point lead, Lake City counters back. Alex Green in for the extra point. High snap, but Green gets his foot into this one and high and between the irons. So Green hits it, and the score is now Emmett 35, Lake City 27, and we still have 8:04 to go in the third quarter of play. We have not played 4 minutes in the second half, and both teams have driven the field for scores.
As we were saying at the end of the half, or end of the halftime, these are explosive teams. They put up a lot of points, especially Lake City, who has been able to really been, as we said, feast or famine. And when they do pull out big plays, it's going to start wearing on this Emmett Husky team. As you were saying, both teams run both ways a lot with most of their players. So it's something that they have to keep in mind. They're getting tired.
Well, and that certainly could be playing as much as we've got a lot of plays running this ball game, partly because of the up tempo that the Huskies have been running. We've run a lot of number of plays. Well, the smoke in the valley apparently is pretty bad. We just got word that all Optimus football games in the valley for tomorrow have been canceled. So that affects our Optimus program there in Emmett. And apparently everywhere across the Treasure Valley, there will be no Optimus football on Saturday morning this week due to the smoke. The kickoff is going to be taken by Brennan at the 10-yard line. He's across the 20 to the 30. He's to the 35, breaks the tackle. He's to the 40. He's going to get into Lake City territory at the 47-yard line, or 48-yard line. That is the fourth kickoff return for the Huskies that have netted more than 30 yards. 2 of those by Loomis and 2 of them now by Brennan. And Emmett will start this possession at the Lake City 48.
The special teams for Emmett has really come up big today. They've, as you've said, we've had over 200 yards in returns alone just from the Huskies this game.
Now the official is signaling for something. I'm not exactly sure.
The chain game is not lined up correctly.
Well, yeah. The 1 yard or the first down marker is at one point, and yet the back end of the 10 yards was another yard down the field, so it was going to make it 1st and 11 before we even got a snap. They got that corrected. Official on the side, actually catchy that on this side. Handoff goes inside to Fullerton. No, it's going to be a keeper by Perry. He takes it out to the left, breaks the tackle, but is going to be shoestring tackled and brought down at the 43 by Brody Beebe. Looked like for a moment Perry might really get free as he used the block from Rye Fullerton to pop it outside. He's still going to pick up about 6 yards on the play. So 2nd down and 4 for the Huskies.
If you're Emmett, look for the pass downfield, but you got a good first down run to give you that pressure. Now you can take a shot down the field, but they're going to keep it.
Back
Hand off to
Fullerton.
Fullerton.
He's going to pop it outside. Pivots, comes inside, breaks the tackle, gets another 6 yards.
A fantastic spin move by Fullerton to get that extra effort, gaining him an extra 3 yards on the play for the first down.
Rye Fullerton carries it all the way down to the 31-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Emmett. 7:05 to go here in the quarter. We've had some big offensive scores in the Southern Idaho Conference so far this season. We've been, other than Bishop Kelly, who seemingly shuts everybody else out, they've been some high. We've had some 60 to 52 games, and it's kind of means we may have a wild season ahead of us. That pass was short, bounced toward Howe. Incomplete, so 2nd down and 10 for the Huskies at the 31. This is one of those where you don't feel like you can not score on every possession and still be able to hold the lead. Handoff to Fullerton. He's inside. He'll get inside the 25. Well, they're going to mark him just shy of the 25. So we'll call it a 5-yard pickup on the run by Rye Fullerton. 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Huskies. 6 minutes, 37 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, and the clock is running. Seems like we've had enough pass plays, enough first downs, enough out of bounds. Is that the clock has not eluded or expired very much. We still have over half of the third quarter to play. Handoff to Loomis. He gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, but dives forward. He'll be a couple yards shy of the first down. He needed to get to inside the 21, and I think he got to the 23.
So we have 4th and 2.
It's 4th and 2 with 6:02 to go. Do you go for fake it inside and go deep?
I mean, this far into Lake City territory, I think you can risk the 4th down move, but
well,
we'll
yeah,
see.
they're definitely going on it. The question is whether you just want to keep powering it or you want to try to catch him sucked up and go behind him. Fullerton in the backfield along with the quarterback Perry. Perry rolls out, jump pass, completed to Howe.
Incomplete.
And then he lost the ball, but we have a flag on the play. It's a procedural call against, and procedurals have to be taken, do they not? The whistle is before the snap, so the incompletion goes, I don't believe it goes over on downs on 4th and 2.
Well, if it's an offensive play, the play shouldn't have ever run. It should have been blown dead when the penalty existed.
So it should be 4th down and 7, not 1st and 10 for Lake City, and that is what they're marching it off.
That is, yes.
4th down and a good 6.5 or somewhere in that vicinity. They only marked it just outside the 25, and they've got to get it just to the 20, just short of the 20. So a second opportunity for Emmett. Now they have an empty
False
backfield.
start again.
And a penalty as Brennan went in motion. He must have lost memory of what the count was. He took off from the slot position too early. So now instead of a 4th and 1 and then a 4th and 5 or 6, it's now going to be 4th
and 10.
And a good 10. So somehow each of those 5-yard penalties became about 4.5. But so it's 4th down and 10 for the Huskies. And Perry alone in the backfield. Facing pressure. It's coming. He's firing deep to the end zone. And a flag's going to be drawn.
They're going to call pass interference on number 25.
25, Gabe Werlenwaber got his hands up in the face of Stevie Howe, as Howe had the position behind him.
That's actually Aiden Camersall.
Oh, excuse me, that's right. We have to look for the right numbers on the right roster. Aiden Camersall will be called with the penalty. Now remember, this is high school ball, so it's not at the end zone. It'll be a 15-yard pickup and should move it to about the 15.5. And now what the officials are they calling offensive pass interference?
No. No, they can't be.
No, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say. If it's an offensive penalty, it's a turnover on downs and they get the ball.
Yeah.
So
you would
just decline the penalty.
That's exactly right.
But
instead, it's 1st and 10 for the Huskies, all the way down to the 15-yard line.
I hate
or
to say
16-yard line.
I hate to say it, but we've had some interesting calls made by our officials
and both
today.
Teams
on both sides of the ball. Yeah,
we've had some interesting ones that have changed things. Handoff to Fullerton. He'll kind of skitterbug his way for a couple of yards inside the 15. Looked like he might have had a hole for a moment, but it closed up quickly. And one of the reasons it closes up quickly is because it had two big men there, and that was Zach Johnson, number 80, and number 53, Alex Green. The pair of them have got to be, combined, there's got to be 500 pounds and 13 feet.
Got some big boys on the inside.
Perry
of that
holds
line.
on to it, and Perry's going to get nothing as Johnson breaks through and gets the sack. Again, Zach Johnson showing that athletic ability. He will knock Perry down for a couple of yard loss. And the Huskies right now having to scratch and fight for every inch they can get as they're trying to regain a two-possession lead.
Zach Johnson being 6'3", definitely taking advantage of his size and physicality on this defensive line.
Perry, handoff. No, he's going to go to the corner. Wide open in the corner for the touchdown. Or what are they going to call? Lake City saying it's incomplete. It was a deflection that was not gathered in by.
Eventually, the backfield judge is the one who calls it incomplete.
Yeah,
so.
the official on the near side didn't make a call on it. We kept waiting for it. And Isaac Brennan looked like he might have had it, but it skipped into him apparently. 4th down for the Huskies. Now, we've shown that we can kick a field goal maybe. But do you take one here with 4:10 to go? I think you just keep going with it because at least you've got Lake City deep if you don't convert this. 4th down and 8 at the 14-yard line. Perry back to pass, looking deep. He's going to fire a timing into the corner to Fullerton, and Fullerton is in for the touchdown. 16 yards, Perry to Rye Fullerton. On 4th down, that is the second time in the ball game the Huskies have scored on 4th down, deep in territory. 4:01 to go in the third quarter.
A perfectly placed ball, though. We have to give the credit where credit is due.
Dakota Perry
with a fantastic pass, putting it right where his receiver can get it and the defense can.
And the running back came around and came across to get to it. The kick looks good from Welling, it is. And the Huskies have regained that 2-possession lead, a 15-point margin. It's 42-27, Emmett in favor on the scoreboard with 4:01 to go here in the third quarter. It has been a wild one with lots of spine-tingling and tense moments just because you're going, if we don't get this, it could turn, and then someone gets it. And then Lake City did the same thing. It's back and forth. Mountain West Building Supply, everything you need for your next project. Whether you're a professional contractor or a do-it-yourselfer, maybe fixing up the home or helping someone else's home get fixed up. Lumber, paint, hardware, and more can be found at Mountain West. Located just 2 miles west of Emmett on Highway 52, they've got all kinds of pre-built sheds ready to deliver so you can put away all that stuff that you've been kind of kicking around all summer long and try to get it done before the leaves and the snow flies. Proud supporters of everything Husky Blue. That's Mountain West Building Supply, 365-7580. Kicking it off is Welling. He's getting a workout. Is this his first game as playing the kicker? Because we really struggled in that in the first couple of ball games, but he's been nails so far here tonight. Gets his foot into this one, and it'll be short. It'll get a high over end and end, taken at the 35, and that'll be about a yard, and that is it for number 9. That is Hunter Profumo, as Dawson Conklin is there to make the stop for the Huskies. So decent field position for the Timberwolves, but they still will have 64 yards to go. Ball placed at the 36-yard line. Just under 4 minutes remaining here in the third quarter of play.
And though this is odd to say, is this the worst field position they've had so far today?
No, they had one earlier late in the first half that was deep. And that helped set up for the final way that the Huskies were able to respond. Pass outside to Cogley. Cogley's going to get first down yardage as he breaks the tackle at the 45. They're going to mark him at the 48-yard line. So a 12-yard pickup on the pass play from Pettit. And that was Shane Daniels with the stop for Emmett. She said, we don't have a good statistical program here to tell how many yards people have run in this football game or how many passes have been caught, and we're able to keep down the scoring plays, but beyond that, we don't. But both of these teams have got some offensive numbers here this afternoon. Inside, the ball is stripped away, but Lake City will cover it. The ball was stripped away from Logan Fletcher, nearly taken away, and in there for the Huskies, number 62 for Emmett. Stripping that ball was Hunter Enoch. Alec Olson, however, covers the football for Lake City, but a loss of about 5 yards on the play. So third down at 15 for the Huskies at their own 43-yard line. And now we have a whistle, and the white cap, the big man on the field, is signaling something.
I think he's calling it third down.
Well, they had moved it to third down, but that was the first play since the first down. So they had it at third down, and he's changed it to second. Okay. So it is second down and 15. Back to pass, Pettit fires out into the flat. Nice open field tackle. Making the catch was Brock Morris, but in there defensively for the Huskies was Callan Conklin, and he'll get a couple of yards, but that's it. Open field, looked like he might have space, but a nice one-on-one tackle by Conklin. And it's 3rd down and 12 for Lake City. Less than 2.5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. It's Emmett 42, Lake City 27.
3rd down, look for a shot downfield.
Pettit's back to fire. He's going to go to the flat, and it's going to be tipped around by his running back, who finally comes up with it for the completion, but he's going to be stopped short of first down yardage. That is Fletcher, who caught it at about the line of scrimmage, and he was able to balance it and kind of tip it around and juggle it for about 5 yards before he's brought down. So he gets into Emmett territory at the 48-yard line, but it'll be 4th down and 6 coming up for Lake City here. With 1:45 to go, they're going for it. No doubt about it.
Yeah, down 2 scores, you kind of have to at this point. Even though it's still the 3rd quarter, you're kind of in go for it territory. Obviously, an incomplete pass, looking for number 2.
They were looking for Johnson, 680 on the far side, and who else but number 18, Stevie Howe, to tip that one away.
Stevie's had an incredible defensive game today.
He's had an incredible defensive season so far for the Huskies. He's had 2 interceptions already this year, and he's had a number of deflected passes, but he's also been the leading receiver for the Huskies for most of the year as well. And Emmett holds and takes over the possession at their own 48-yard line. And this is probably the most important series of the game for Lake City.
Yeah, you
Their
need a defensive stop here.
Yeah, they can't fall down 3 scores. I mean, they score fast, but we only have a quarter left, and to be coming from 3 down would be very difficult. Perry, handoff to Fullerton, holds onto the ball, gets 5, gets 6, gets 7, just diving forward. Very patient for a fullback type runner.
Well, and the offensive line is doing a fantastic job. They're moving the defensive line back 3 to 4 yards every play. You're starting to really see the fatigue come through on this Lake City defense, and it's completely caused by the fact that Emmett runs a no-huddle offense, and that's not something Lake City runs into a lot.
Well, and we haven't seen that out of the Huskies really much until tonight. And they've certainly been there. Fullerton with another handoff, another first down inside the 40 all the way to the 35. He's just finding holes that are being opened up by his line right now. And in fact, they're doing a good job of sealing the linebackers, and he's not getting touched until he's 5 yards down the field.
Yeah.
1st and 10, Emmett at the Lake City 36-yard line. And for Lake City fans, you're going to find a team coming next week in Bishop Kelly that's coming up to your field in the Coeur d'Alene that Bishop Kelly is, I mean, their entire history, which is phenomenal with state championship and everything, is run the football.
So that was a timeout by the officials, I think, to get the chain gang where they needed to be. They've struggled tonight to keep up with this fast offense.
And this is probably just the first of 2 games for them as well tonight. Pass out to the near side to who else? Stevie Howe. Quick outlet from Perry. We'll pick up maybe 5. Let's see where they mark him down. He's all the way to the 30-yard line, so we'll call that a 2nd down, and he gets about 7 by the time they mark him down to the 29.
I think they're going to put the ball right on the line.
Let's see where the official puts it. He's got it at the 29. So it is 2nd down and 3, so a 7-yard pickup on the Perry swing to Howe on the perimeter.
28 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
And right now, Coach Hargett is, and of course play is stopped because I'm not sure why his play stopped. Wasn't knocked, well, he was knocked out of bounds apparently. I thought he was brought down inbounds, but it must have been knocked out of bounds because it's not a first down. Handoff, no. Coming to the near side again to Howe, and Howe again will go out of bounds, but this time with the first down to his credit. So with 22.8 seconds yet to go in the 3rd quarter, another first down for the Emmett Huskies. And they'll have it now back in the red zone again.
And though they haven't been big plays, Lake City, it's starting to build up. It's starting to add up where they're just getting chunked down on these little 5-yard outs. And, you know, at the beginning of the game, you can let that happen. But as the game goes on, as you're down 2 scores, or actually 3 scores now, you kind of have to start to make adjustments and start to play a little tighter. I think the fatigue is really starting to to weigh down this Lake City defense.
Well, Joe Loomis gets the handoff and goes forward for about 3 yards for the Huskies, and that should be the last play of the third quarter. Emmett has scored on its last 4 possessions, and they're now in the red zone trying to score for their 5th consecutive possession. And if they do that and go up by more than 3 touchdowns, right now, as I said, they're more than just 2 touchdowns. They're 15 points ahead, so they've got that point there, but they're still not out of the zone. But they had another one here early in the fourth quarter. It could make a huge difference. That's the end of 3 quarters of play. It is Emmett 42 and Lake City 27. We'll be back with fourth quarter in just a moment.
Why spend 15 minutes quoting your insurance with one company? Go to biginsurance.com and let leading insurance companies shop for your insurance. You can even chat with one of our agents standing by, only at biginsurance.com.
Well, the shadows continuing to stretch across the field here at Baker Bulldog Memorial Stadium. That's right, we're in Baker, Oregon, but the teams on the field are both from Idaho. The Emmett Huskies in the black uniforms and the blue helmets with the 208 area code on their helmets this year, and with a 15-point lead on the far side of the field and in full color in white with their blue numbers and silver trim, the Timberwolves of Lake City out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So North Idaho meets South Idaho in eastern Oregon.
Something you mentioned there, the 208 on the helmets, this is actually the gold variant of that. Talking to the team earlier, they actually have 4 different decals that are circulated around on this Emmett team that they change out for every single game. And they also do run just the plain blue helmets. So just some different looks for this Emmett team.
Right. There's nothing what I'd call fancy or stylish about this particular, certainly not an Oregon Duck type layout. Very simple, very blue collar. And very much Emmett. Right now, that's what they're doing, is pounding that football. They're going to give it to Loomis straight ahead. He breaks the tackle, and he's inside the 10-yard line. He's not going to make the goal line, but it's going to be first and goal before Aaron Rios brings down Joe Loomis.
Yeah, and just a shoestring tackle there. If he had been able to shuck that off, that would have been a touchdown. There was no one behind him, so saving the touchdown really is Rios.
We'll put him at the 4-yard line officially. Maybe they're calling it. That looks like the 4 to me. Handoff. Perry's going to keep it. No, he fires it out to the near side, and Brennan will walk in with the touchdown. Perry with his 5th touchdown pass of the ball game, and Brennan from 5 yards out gets his 3rd touchdown of the ball game. And with 11:42 to go, the Huskies with 48 points up on the board. And they're going to bring in their kicker, Welling, to try to make this a 22-point lead. 11:42 to go here in the fourth quarter. Early. And that whole last possession, this will be the 5th straight scoring possession for the Huskies. That last possession has been pretty much done on the ground or the little flare-out pass, not going deep. They did that to come from behind to get the lead at halftime. And they're using a lot more clock and a lot more time here in the second half.
So right now the discussion that's going on, and Brian Phillip, the coach for the Lake City Timberwolves, has just brought a question of, was that a forward pass? And was he past the line of scrimmage? And the officials do a quick little discussion. It was definitely a forward pass, but it was behind the line of scrimmage, so it was a legal pass.
Yeah, Perry came across, looked like he might even try to run for it, and it did not. Kick is on its way. It is good. Welling hits another one. 49-27, Emmett with 11:42 to go here in the ball game. And you can hear some of the vocal Emmett fans who've made the trip. Not near the trip that the Lake City fans on the far side had to make. And strangely enough, the Huskies leaving home for a home game are able to get this game in because it sounds like an awful lot of the football games scheduled tonight in the Boise Valley and, as we say, over the hill in the Emmett Valley have been postponed because of the smoke.
Yeah, it's almost like they planned it, you know. You have both the teams traveling here where if you had stayed in the Valley, game probably would have been canceled. And not the case here in Oregon. We've got almost clear skies, a little bit of haze on the edge there, on the edge of the horizon there, but pretty dang clear.
Oh yeah, and right here it is absolutely beautiful football weather. After
Perfect.
all the heat we've had this summer, it is beautiful. We've had a soft breeze pretty much the whole length of the ball game, and if you're a great high school football fan, stick with us. We've got another one coming from this same facility a little bit later tonight as the number one team in the 3A division in Idaho, the Homedale Trojans, will be on this field to take on the Baker Bulldogs. And we'll be bringing that to you right here on IdahoSports.com as well. Kickoff from Welling gets his foot into this one. It'll be taken up at the 25-yard line, and the Husky, you know, we talk about the play of the offense and the defense. But the special team difference in this football game, the Huskies have not allowed Lake City to get more than 5 to 10 yards of return on whether it's a punt. Well, they haven't really had a punt, I don't think, a one.
It was called back.
Yeah, and that was called back. And then the Huskies with their kickoffs. On the other hand, the Huskies with over 200 yards of return yardage, none of them have gone for a tee. But they have come close.
They've came close. The Husky special teams have been lights out tonight. They've been fantastic. If you're the special teams coach for the Emmett Huskies, you've got to be proud of your boys right now. They've played excellently.
Well, right now, Lake City knows they still have a lot of time on the clock, and they have shown us quick strike ability. Let's see if they go that direction now. Pettit back to pass. He's firing over the middle, and he will come up. He misses his intended receiver, Trevor Cogley, coming across the middle. Cogley had a 39-yard come across, but Callan Conklin, boy, we've called Callan's name a ton here tonight.
Him and Stevie Howe have just done a fantastic job in the backfield tonight. They've really locked down these bigger, more athletic receivers for Lake City. So they've just done a fantastic job.
Huskies a little mixed up on the defensive line trying to move. They're going to fire downfield looking for Johnson, and Pettit overfires Johnson. He had double team coverage over there on the far side as Emmett is wanting. They certainly know about Johnson. Ryder Scheibe was there along with Isaac Brennan. And if you can get it right to Johnson, he's got that physical body to get it. But if you're going to have to make him move a defender away, that makes it much more difficult.
Johnson almost with that Rob Gronkowski tight end look. He's also our defensive lineman, so he's playing both ways, a big physical player, and just done a good job. But the Huskies have done a fantastic job holding them up. A good pass downfield.
Pettit gets it to Hill, and he just simply bought time as the Huskies were trying to close in on him, and Hill found a little seam down here on the right side to catch it at about the 45, and he'll be knocked out of bounds just right at the 40-yard line. So a nice 35-yard pickup on the pass play to Hill. Pettit and Hill, between them, are over 100 yards pass and catch. And we still have 11:10 to go with the clock moving here in the fourth quarter.
Well, yeah, Lake City showing no signs of laying down and giving up.
Pettit with the quick pass again to Hill, and Hill will run into his own teammate, Brock Morris, and then tries to pivot back, and Hill is hurt.
I think it's a cramp.
A cramp, or the ball just made contact where it didn't need to make contact for a while, and he'll shake that one off.
And they are going to allow. Oh no, they're going to make him go off the field. If you get called for an injury, you have to leave the field whether you want to or not.
Right. Yeah, so if the official blow the whistle to stop play for any purpose whatsoever, you do have to leave the field. And the clock continues to run. So even though he sort of stopped play, it didn't stop the clock. And Lake City. The clock is still running.
I don't think they realize the clock is still running. I think it's supposed to be dead. When you call an injury, it's supposed to kill the clock.
Well, it hasn't stopped. It's still running, and Pettit with one back behind him, but he's not looking back, and it's picked off. Pettit's going to be picked off by Daniel Walker. Walker's going to return it across the 50, inside the 40-yard line. The senior Daniel Walker with the pick and the return. And the Huskies may now have the time, the motion, and the lead they need.
Yeah, it's looking pretty dire here for Lake City. And once again, we've said this a couple times tonight, I think there was a disconnect between the quarterback and the receiver on that route. The receiver did an out, the quarterback threw it in, and Walker was right there for it.
Yeah, he was setting right on that one and came up with it and then turned into a fullback and ran with it for another 20 yards. So Huskies taking possession at the Lake City 38-yard line with a 22-point lead in 10 minutes to go. I expect we're going to keep it close to the vest here. Hand off again to Fullerton. Breaks the tackle. Inside. Takes it to the right. He's inside the 20. He's back to the 15. Cuts back to the left. He's down to the 10-yard line. What a run by Rye Fullerton.
A very patient run, too. Not really running over people, but just letting the play develop and taking his time with each step. A great run by Fullerton.
And all the way to the 11 or 12-yard line of the Huskies, already lined up, ready to go again. Handoff this time to Loomis. He's got inside the 10, inside down to the 6-yard line. It'll be second down and about 4 coming up, it looks like, for the Huskies at the Lake City 6.
And we've talked about this earlier. This no-huddle offense is really starting to wear on this Lake City defense. They just swapped out 4 players on their defensive line because they're just absolutely gassed.
And obviously you're putting the pedal to the metal here because you would think maybe with the 22-point lead you'd start trying to run out the clock and take time with every possession. And that'll probably be it after this one because Loomis is going to get it down inside. I think enough for the first down.
They're going to mark it at the 2-yard line, and that will be a first down.
So it's first and goal for the Huskies at the 2. Less than 9 minutes to go in the ball game. They're trying to break the 50-point barrier for the first time this season.
And it looks like at this point they are going to run the clock even though it was a first down. You saw the official waving it on.
Which I'm not sure because we don't have that big of a margin to have a running clock as we did the fourth quarter against Fruitland the other night once we went up by 40. Hand off to Loomis, and he's in for the touchdown.
Now I would say we have enough of a lead for a running clock, though.
So with 8:32 to go, well, that's still only going to be a 28-point lead. And the Idaho rule, I believe, is 40 points. So when there's a 40-point margin in the fourth quarter, we run the clock.
Right, but you have to remember, Del, we aren't in Idaho.
Yes, but there are 2 Idaho teams.
Oh, right.
And they're playing with Idaho officials.
Oh, okay.
So we're a little displaced, but so Welling in for another extra point attempt. And this one gets blocked. So that one comes up short, and that will hold a 28-point lead for the Huskies at 55-27. And Emmett has scored on 7 consecutive possessions now after trailing in this ball game at one point 20-7 when early in the second quarter Lake City had gone up 20-7. The Huskies have now scored on 7 consecutive possessions and have turned the tables on this from a 20-7 deficit. They lead this 55-27 and will be kicking it off in just a moment. Gem Supply Co-op in Emmett. That's the helpful place for all your building and hardware needs. They offer friendly, knowledgeable, personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience from local experts who know you best. Visit them at 402 North Washington Avenue. And Emmett opens 7 days a week. Gem Supply Co-op, wanting to wish the Emmett boys the best of luck in the game tonight. They're rooting for the Huskies, and they're also got a nice sale going on there for like 50% off all your plants and stuff. I mean, you can still get stuff that still grows despite all the heat, and we got a lot of growing season left. Welling with the kickoff. Nice foot.
A beautiful kick.
High back to the 15-yard line. He drives number 21. That is Chase Walker. And Walker with one of the better returns just keeps fighting and fighting. He'll get about 18, 19 yards, and we have Laundry on the field, which may add to the distance. And looks like it may be a face mask.
They're going to call it a horse collar, actually.
Oh, a horse collar.
But it's the same penalty either way. It's a personal foul.
So Lake City will start this possession in Emmett territory with 8:23 to go.
And after that penalty, it will be the biggest return that Emmett has given up all night long.
Yeah, because the penalties count.
Penalties count.
Ask any coach when you're in a meeting on Monday. Penalties count.
And though Emmett is up quite a bit, they are going to have that conversation starting Monday. There has been a plethora of penalties in
Less
this game.
than last week against Fruitland, but we've had 3 defensive holding calls away from where the pass was, which have totally construed us. And a nice dive play up the middle. That is a run by Logan Fetcher. He'll get 11, 12 yards. They're going to mark him just inside the 35. So 34-yard line. Lake City trying to counter quickly.
As you said before, this game is definitely not over. With about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, it's not out of question.
The only question is, even if Lake City scores quick here, can they stop Emmett? They have not on the last 7 drives. Emmett does make a stop on Fletcher that time, a loss of a yard back behind the 30-yard line. Shane Daniels in there defensively for the Huskies, another junior. Emmett has a good, solid senior group in this, but this is a very young team, particularly on the line. Their defensive line starts 2 sophomores.
Yeah, and for sophomores, they're pretty big boys. They're very physical. I wouldn't call them tall by any means, but they're stocky and they've got a lot of meat on the bones.
Yeah, exception to that would be number 80 for the Huskies, Christian Sanchez, about 6'5", and he's an athlete. And a sack. I think that's the first time Pettit's actually been sacked. He's been pressured a ton tonight, but he gets taken down all the way back to the 40. Well, they're going to mark him at the 42. And that was Brady Dillon again and Lucas Briscoe, I think, in there as well. That'll bring up 3rd down and long. And the yard marker, do we have a flag on the field?
I don't think so.
The reason yes, we do. In the backfield, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, way in the backfield, around the 20-yard line.
In the defensive backfield.
Yeah,
and the reason I brought that up is all of a sudden they were motioning the down marker to go back where he'd been instead of coming back for the loss.
It looks like they're calling defensive holding again, but was that a pass play?
Well, yeah, he was back to pass. He never released the ball. And in all honesty, sometimes that's how you control great wide receivers is you just hold them at the line of scrimmage. And maybe that is part of the defensive effort tonight particularly against Zach Johnson, because they've really held Johnson in check. He's had a couple of touchdowns on short passes, control passes in the end zone. But it is going to be another defensive hold against the Huskies. It will not bring up a first down, however. Because they went from where he was sacked. So even with all the penalty, it'll be 2nd down at about 2. The ball is at about the 26-yard line. He's got to get it inside the 25. Fletcher setting to the right of the quarterback, Pettit. Pettit in traffic. He's being chased now, and he's going to be dropped. That'll be Brian Walker with the stop. Walker stepped up after Pettit was chased out of the pocket. He's able to drop him for a loss. So instead of 2nd and 2, now it's 3rd down at about 4 for Lake City. 6:35 remaining here in the football game. Huskies trying to get to 2-1 on the year. They had a disappointing 49-32 loss to Blackfoot in the first game of the season, but we knew Blackfoot was tough, and right now they're ranked number 1 in the state in the 4A ranks. Pettit drops the snap but picks it up. Now he's going to fire, and he's going to fire it into the stands on the near side. He actually gets dropped afterwards by Loomis, but no flag comes into play. It'll be 4th down and 4 coming up. 6 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. Hannigan Auto Sales, been locally owned and operated for almost 100 years. And you don't stick around that long unless you treat every customer who walks onto the lot just like family. Hannigan Auto Sales Service, full service dealer. They can take care of everything before, during, and after the sale. They have in-house financing, full service auto detailing, a repair shop run by the best experts in town. You won't find a better place to buy or service your next used car, truck, or SUV than Hannigan Auto Sales in Emmett. Back to pass. Pettit has the ball knocked into the air, but we had a flag thrown and a procedural call against Lake City.
And once again, that's a dead ball foul, so the play shouldn't have ever happened.
Right, so you can't turn it down.
No, it'll still be 4th down.
He's trying to say
what is happening.
the officials saying you want to decline it. I didn't think
You can't decline a dead ball foul.
I don't think you can decline a dead ball foul.
No. But apparently you can tonight.
Well, that would make sense. They've
No,
they've mucked it.
It is 4th down and 10, yes.
Just waiting for that synchronization between the stick man and the stick crew and the officials on the field.
It's been a rough night. And to be fair, we've had a lot of yardage go out in this line.
There has been a lot of plays in this football game, and we still have 6:09 to go. 4th down here for Lake City, 4th and a long 9. Pettit's going to roll out to the right. He's going to fire back into the middle and right through the hands of Hill. Hill had a step, looked like he had the angle. Justin Hill cannot come up with it, and the Huskies will take over at their own 34-yard line with 6 minutes and 1 tick to go, and a 55-27 lead over the 5A Timberwolves of Lake City Coeur d'Alene.
That's one you definitely wish you could have back. When it goes through your hands and you just drop it, you could see the pain on the player's face when he leans down.
Well, and he had nothing but green turf in front of him.
It was a touchdown. It was a touchdown.
It was a touchdown, and reflective of the one that he scored from 49 yards out to start the football game. And obviously Emmett's made a number of adjustments in this second half for that over-the-center pass play that just killed him in the first 16 minutes of the game. Handoff inside to Fullerton, breaks the tackle, he's across the 40. He's going to be all the way out to the 49-yard line. And right now the line is dominating. They're opening the holes, and the Huskies are just running the football right up the gut. I would, quite frankly, be surprised to see any kind of a pass coming out of.
They've got 0 wideouts on the Emmett side of the ball, and they shouldn't have to. They're running the ball and getting 10 yards per run, so there's no reason to do anything but run the ball up the middle.
And the run will go to the deep back, and the handoff that time goes to Ryder Schreibe. Schreibe, as it plays quarterback on the well, he's actually played on the freshman team this year and on the junior varsity team. He's a sophomore. And so they're running him out of the tailback position now. And lots of protection around the quarterback, Perry. Brian Walker split on one side of him. Handoff again to Scheibe. He'll be swarmed, and he'll lose the yardage that he gained on the first and then some. He'll be knocked down back in Emmett territory at about the 49-yard line. Let's see where they place it. I think he's got just over 10 yards to go. On 3rd down coming up is Preston DeMar with the stop for.
And it wasn't up the middle. They're not getting any penetration up the middle. The Emmett Huskies are winning that battle at the line. He's coming off the edge and just chasing around. So.
Yeah, but they got a lot of new faces out there right now, too, on the line and in the backfield. The quarterback, Perry, remains in there, pitches it back to Scheibe. He's going to reverse back to the right. He's going to fire the football, and he gets the completion downfield to Daniel Walker for the first down. You kept wondering when Scheibe was going to do that because he is a quarterback. He's really the backup quarterback for Perry, and he fires 16 yards down the field on that 3rd down for the completion.
And I can't help but think that was not the play. That was a broken play that Scheibe said, you know what, I got a player downfield, might as well take it.
That's the play you run Thanksgiving Day in the park.
Yes.
But it usually doesn't work. It worked there. And now we're going to walk back. Do we have a flag involved as well?
I'm not sure.
It appears to be because they've never moved the sticks.
The white hat hasn't addressed this yet, so I'm not sure what.
And Scheibe was not past the line of scrimmage when he fired the pass.
No, he was definitely in the backfield. Are they going to say that it was an illegal forward pass because it was handed? No,
no,
the handoff.
He had the handoff. You can still pass it.
So not sure what the call
I
was
never
there.
have seen the call, but it was a 10-yarder. So we must have had an offensive holding. That's about all I can think of. And Fullerton is back behind Perry now, and they're running that clock down as far as they can, getting it down to 4 minutes. It's 3rd down and 20. Hand off to Fullerton. Fullerton breaks. He rolls around, and he just about broke away. He gained about 6 yards on it. If he'd been able to get one more step, he might have taken it all the way around this side, but Brody Beebe able to wrap him up and bring him down. It'll be 4th down. And will the Huskies continue to run the clock, and I have a feeling they're going to run it down and take a timeout. With 3:36, run it down as far as they can. It's 4th down and 14. The ball on their own 46-yard line. They're all taking a knee right now with Coach Hargett, and he's simply letting that clock run as far as they can before they call the timeout. Then, I mean, do you run for the I don't know there's any reason to punt necessarily other than to see if you have a punting game. Scheibe's had the only punt of the night for Emmett, and then that got wiped out because of a penalty. And so the Huskies finally call timeout with 3 minutes and 13 seconds to go. They enjoy a 28-point lead. They have outscored Lake City 48-7.
Since the first quarter?
Since the 10-minute, 20-second mark of the second quarter.
Okay.
It was 20-7 Lake City with 10:21 to go in the ball game, and the Huskies then scored on 7 consecutive possessions.
Scheibe, once again playing jack of all trades, is now going to be the punter after he was the running back and the receiver, and then he threw that ball, so he's the quarterback too.
So he'll have receiving yards, he'll have punting yards, he'll have passing yards, he'll have rushing yards. Not a bad day for a sophomore on a varsity team.
That's what we call flexibility.
Huskies looking for all the protection they can get. Scheibe just rolls a punt off the end of his toe, and it'll be rolling down at about the 31-yard line, where the Huskies, Rye Fullerton finally makes it definitive, said, okay, it's dead ball here.
I was going to say, you had some Emmett players sitting there just standing above the ball, not touching it, and Rye goes, hey, guys, we got to mark it down first.
Well, but the other side of it is, as long as the other team hasn't touched it, they still can. And maybe you're waiting for them to pick it up so you can get a lick in.
I mean, that's a game you can play, but Rye, the senior, coming in saying, no, we're not playing those games. Let's just mark it down.
We're marking it down. 3 minutes and 2 seconds to go. Lake City with 27 points on the board, but not near enough as the Huskies really got the offense cranked up, and the hurry-up spread offense really has clicked throughout the second half and really ever since the midway point of the second quarter. And they've put up 55 points today against the 5A Timberwolves. Handoff inside, carrying that ball with his first carry, I believe, the night is number 10.
Yep.
Which we do not have a number 10.
I think that's Jake Whitehead.
Okay.
If I had to guess, because they have 2 number 9s listed, so I would assume it's probably Jake Whitehead.
And he's the one that's they're both listed as running backs, but Whitehead is the senior. So we'll call it that at this point, that it was Whitehead with the carry and a pickup of 9 yards. Clock continuing to run. Snap again, handoff inside. Whitehead will be short of first down. He'll get a yard, but not 2. And it'll bring up third down. We should be down around the 2-minute mark by the time we have another snap here, unless Lake City hurries it up. But I don't think they're in any major hurry right now.
No, I think they've kind of come to terms with what's going on. They're pretty tired, and with that big of a lead.
Because last 2 have been handoffs. I mean, they haven't been firing downfield, but
they are still running the spread offense. So
that and you're always looking for execution at any point of the ball game. Handoff again will be a first down for Whitehead. He'll dive forward to about the 42, 43-yard line. The stick person on the far side for downs moved it to 4, but now has moved it to 1 as the chain gang moves. Minute 38 to go. We're probably about 3 snaps away from this one being over. Been a great football game here this afternoon, particularly if you're a Husky fan. I know you're happy with what you've seen. Back to pass, firing downfield, fired up, and the ball is again knocked away. Is that Stevie Howe again,
that
18?
Is.
He reaches up and makes sure that Trevor Cogley does not pull that one in.
Stevie Howe, the offensive trickster, really. He's had amazing games, but defensively he's been lights out. He hasn't allowed almost anything to get by him.
Yeah, he doesn't get it. He likes them in front of him, and yet he's one of the taller defenders for the Huskies. Stands in about 5'11", 6 foot, and the guard on the basketball team. But he does get up and has been able to do some damage. And the ball is snapped, and it is fumbled and recovered by Christian Sanchez. Sanchez is on the ball, kind of the stamp on the ball game.
Yep. I think you're going to see a victory formation come from the Huskies, and I would not be surprised if you get a couple knees.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming we'll be 2 to 3 knees here. You can run 40, isn't it? 40 seconds?
Yeah, 40-second play clock.
So if you've got that, you really have 2 knees to take.
Might also just take a couple runs, though. They've been so successful with the run thus far this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they just hand it off a couple times.
Well, I'll know that there's a whole committee in the backfield.
Yeah, there are definitely too many players on the field.
Ryan Walker coming out to the near side. He'll come off the field. Stevie Howe is in the lineup, and it will be simply Perry taking the knee.
Yep. Perry had a fantastic game. We can't say enough about him. He's really just been throwing lights out since the first quarter. He had a couple missteps in that first quarter, but really since then has just been absolutely perfect.
I'm just trying to kind of look over here. He has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's thrown for 5 touchdowns in this ball game.
Could be a potential candidate for that player of the game, but won't put any spoils. No decisions yet. But
well, there's a lot of candidates with some big plays, with runs and big. Then the Huskies take their final knee with about 34 seconds, and the clock is going to run out in this one, where the Emmett Huskies have been able to come from behind. Can you believe it? And win by 28. They beat Lake City here 55-27 with 5 touchdown passes from Dakota Perry, and just an overall great effort, a great mix of pass and run as they come back and score on their 7 of their last 8. They did not score in their last possession, but they had 7 consecutive possessions that they scored on after trailing by 13 at 20-7. So the Huskies win it 55-27. We'll be back shortly with our player of the game and a quick wrap-up.
High school sports teams are known for their unity. No matter what's happening on the field, they stick together. Players, coaches, students, parents. One big family. That's why Mountain West Bank is so proud to sponsor Idaho high school sports. Today, tomorrow, together.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Because you already give them something money can't buy. We'll help with everything else, no matter what life holds. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
We are back at Baker City, Oregon, in Baker Bulldog Memorial Stadium, where the Emmett Huskies have come from behind to post a 55-27 win over Lake City in a matchup of 5A and 4A teams from Idaho playing on a neutral field here in Oregon. First of a doubleheader. Del Gray along with Chandler Gray. It has been a wild football game. And we're sitting here trying to argue and almost arm wrestle over who to name as player of the game because there are so many you can go to. I mean, if you went early, you could simply just go with quarterback Pettit for Lake City, who was carving things up early and got the early scores. But the Huskies came back with just a totally dominant offensive performance that had great balance.
Well, and there's so many places we could make a case for. I almost want to make a case for the entire Emmett line, both offensive and defense. They really got the better of Lake City. I mean, on offense, we're pushing the entire defensive line 4 to 5 yards back, and on defense, they were making they had Pettit running all night long. He was just always scrambling. And then another one we can talk about is Stevie Howe, who had a good offensive game but had an absolutely lights-out defensive game, just not letting anything go by him. He batted down, I think, 5 or 6 long passes that could have gone to something. But if you got to pick one,
that's tough because I can add you 3 more that are candidates here. You've got Joe Loomis,
right?
And between him and Isaac Brennan, over 200 yards of return yardage on kickoffs, though neither of them scored. So I guess that's a negative. You know, they went 70 yards.
I don't know if you can say a negative is a 70-yard return, but go ahead.
Okay, so they didn't quite make it there. Rye Fullerton, we don't have official numbers, but I know it's got to be well over 100 yards rushing up the middle of that. So Fullerton's another one. But Dakota Perry tonight, the senior quarterback, 5 touchdown passes. And what can you say about the last 5 minutes of the first half when his team was down 20-7? He comes back and fires 3 touchdowns, including a Hail Mary at the buzzer that deflects off of Howe to Brennan, but it was a 50-yard pass.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in the air.
It was more than that because he was 7 to 8 yards behind the 50.
The
line of scrimmage. Almost a 60-yard pass.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage was the 49, and Howe was laying in the end zone when it bounced off of him and went to Brennan, and that came just seconds after they had already thrown another long pass down there to Howe. So,
and you also didn't count. He was perfect. He didn't throw a single interception.
No interceptions here tonight. He had a few incompletions, but not many, and so his numbers are going to be staggering tonight. And, of course, 5 touchdowns and bringing the team from behind and leading the team that was down 20-7 to scores on their next 7 possessions consecutively.
Yeah.
He helped turn the tide. Did not look like a first-year varsity starter. He's a senior, but he's got a lot more under him. And so our IdahoSports.com player of the game is Emmett senior quarterback Dakota Perry. If you joined us late, I'm going to give you a real quick as I can, recap of this ball game. The ball game started with Lake City getting the opening possession. It looked like they were going to have to punt the ball away. In fact, they did punt the ball away, and it pinned Emmett down to the 2-yard line. But Emmett was called for defensive holding on the punt. It was brought back. On the next play, Pettit hits Hill for 49 yards right up the middle for a touchdown. Lake City's up. Emmett then responds with Joe Loomis going 70 yards on the kickoff return to set him up at the 12. They end up scoring on a Howe pass to Howe from Perry from 12 yards out to tie this one up. But then just seconds later, it's Pettit again, this time to Brock Morris, 39 yards for the touchdown. Emmett then gets a fumble. Looks like they're going to be able to do something with it, but they do throw an interception. Then all of a sudden, Lake City goes in and scores again. They're up 20-7 with 10:21 to go in the first half. But Perry comes back with a 12-yard swing pass to Daniel Walker out of the backfield at the 7:46 mark. He then hits Stevie Howe with a 32-yard pass play with a minute 26 to go into the right end zone, and then comes right back just moments after that with no time remaining and hits a 49-yarder. Perry to Howe to Brennan. You got to give him the assist. Touchdown as time expired to put Emmett on top, 28-20 at the intermission. They get the opening second half drive. They drive down the field. Rye Fullerton powers in from 9 yards out. The next possession, it's a 16-yard pass to Rye Fullerton. Fullerton from Perry. And then Perry hits Brennan on a 5-yard pass shortly after that. And then Loomis with a 2-yard run to finish it up. 55-27, Emmett with the win. They're now 2-1. They return home and will start Southern Idaho Conference play next week against Skyview. Lake City, 1-2. They will return home to Coeur d'Alene. Next week, they will be hosting the number 2 ranked Fort A team in the state. The nemesis that the Huskies are going to have to get by sometime later in the season, the Bishop Kelly Knights. Right now, they're looking unstoppable defensively. And that's going to be a major handle, and it'll be an interesting comparison point next week because Bishop Kelly and Emmett don't meet until the middle of October this year. The last 2 years, they've opened the league season against each other, and the Huskies have stolen wins. And we've been trying to find in the books the last time Bishop Kelly lost 3 years in a row to the same team.
And I couldn't find one. I don't think it's happened.
We think there might have been one little stretch against Middleton somewhere about 10 or 12 years ago, but we'll figure that out with Bishop Kelly when it matters, which is still another few weeks down the road. Tonight, it was Dakota Perry leading his team from behind to a big win, 55-27 over Lake City. Thank you for joining us here. This ball game has been brought to you on IdahoSports.com by our local sponsors, Mountain West Building Supply, Gem Supply Co-op, Hannigan Auto Sales. Also by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valley-Wide Co-op, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. Also by Big Insurance, Buck Insurance Group of Emmett, and our Treasure Valley game night sponsor, Mountain West Bank. I want to thank the folks here at Baker High School that have been tremendous hosts. If you're hanging around and you want to catch the Homedale game, they've pushed the clock back, so it's going to be about 40 minutes before that game kicks off. We're going to be doing that ball game right here on IdahoSports.com. If you want to rejoin us as the undefeated and top-ranked 3A team of the state, Homedale, takes on the homestanding Baker Bulldogs from over here. But that will be on a different channel, so you'll actually have to log back in and click back in to pick up that ball game. But that game will be a little bit later starting than we anticipated. So just to let you know, for Husky fans and for Lake City fans, this one's over. You got next week, and the season is starting to get to the point where it's going to really start mattering with conference plays either next week or the following. So get behind your teams and get out there and support them, because there's some exciting football for both of these teams ahead this year. Thank you for joining us. Del Gray, I want to thank our cameraman, Kyra Sandal, who helped us out throughout the parts of the ball game here, which is always great to have that extra look, and we appreciate that. IdahoSports.com, right here with the Huskies of Emmett, right through the rest of this season, and we'll be back next week. Till then, thank you for joining us, and again, Emmett with the final count, 55-27 over the Timberwolves of Lake City.
High school sports teams are known for their unity. No matter what's happening on the field, they stick together. Players, coaches, students, parents. One big family. That's why Mountain West Bank is so proud to sponsor Idaho high school sports. Today, tomorrow, together.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-Wide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-Wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Because you already give them something money can't buy. We'll help with everything else, no matter what life holds. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.